good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly
Good morning, everyone. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. My name is Brian Craig. This is the most pro-Donald Trump radio show anywhere in the world, and you will definitely enjoy the show. And, of course, we live stream here while we're live on the radio. Okay, we take calls from our radio listeners, and you guys on YouTube can call in as well. And I also add other content up here all the time, right? So click the notification bell, too. I upload my podcast here. I do live streams from my studio at home every Friday, which will be later today.
If you want answers about love, anger, pain, and relationships, join us for your chance to call in and share your stories,
right back.
tears, or laughs. Take the opportunity to tell me what's on your mind.
I gotta go hit a button.
Would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors, that's how, at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their...
All right, I'm back. This is our top of the hour break that starts the show, and we'll be live in just about a minute.
But it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners. Same goes for your property insurance policy.
Here we go.
What are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll free.
Here we go.
855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1. And now...
All right, welcome, everyone. Yes. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. That's right, and we're live in the mornings from 6 until 9 a.m., Monday through Friday, taking your calls. And, of course, we have an overnight rebroadcast 7 nights a week, midnight until 6 a.m. on all of our radio stations. And, of course, the Friday show is the most important show of the week because of our overnight rebroadcast. This episode, just on our radio stations, I'm not including iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, YouTube, and all the other places that carry this program, just on our radio stations, the Friday edition of the Steve Kane Show will air a total of 35 times before we return live to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we always want to make sure the Friday show is the best. And as usual with Fridays, we'll keep it somewhat open phone so long as you were relevant to because I know a lot has happened this week. It is open phone so long as you're relevant to the conversation, okay? At 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You know, I thought there was like I was in some drug-induced, drunken, I don't know, something this morning when I saw the news. I was in total shock when I saw that Rush Limbaugh and Jon Stewart are agreeing. In fact, they look to be in total agreement on this Gamestop, Robinhood short sale of the stock business. And Rush Limbaugh yesterday made such great points, brilliant points. He got a guy, Rush Limbaugh, who is literally fighting for his life, going through this cancer treatment, fighting hard, and he's on the air, and everything that he's going through physically and emotionally, he just comes up with these incredibly brilliant things. And what Rush did yesterday was make such a great comparison between the entire story with the GameStop stock and Robinhood and Reddit with what the political establishment did with President Trump and MAGA, which I'm going to talk about a little bit here in the beginning of the show. I think it's brilliant. Robinhood, my wife and I, we used to use Robinhood a while back, and we stopped. I never cared for Robinhood, especially I remember we sold something, and it was not easy to get the money. It took time, and I thought they held on to it a little too long, so we sold everything we had in Robinhood and took our money out of there a long time ago, and haven't gone back since. But, what has happened with, and this is a little bit of what Rush Limbaugh was talking about yesterday. What happened with Robinhood is an exact replay of what's gone on with Twitter and everything else, these big tech media giants against the president, President Trump, and MAGA. And, you know, Robinhood has been, and Reddit and Discord, even Discord's turning into Facebook. For those of you that don't know about Discord, my daughter uses Discord with some of her friends. I have a Discord server that I do not use. Maybe one day I will, but maybe not now. They got a lot of bad publicity. Discord is kind of like a private chat room for people. It's not a social media thing, but it's kind of becoming a social media platform of sorts. It's much different. And Reddit, Discord are supposed to be like completely free places where people go that don't want the restrictions that you have on Facebook, Twitter, and these big tech places. And Robinhood, for those that don't know, I know it's been in the news a lot, so a lot of you may have been hearing about it for the first time. Robinhood is an app that you download where you can easily buy stocks, just like that, boom. And a lot of people use it. And I remember years ago when stock trading first started on the internet. It wasn't like it is today. Today there's apps like Robinhood where you can buy a percentage of a stock. A lot of people don't have enough money to buy a share of Amazon. They can buy a percentage. They can buy a share of a share, a part of a share of Amazon. And Robinhood and other things like it have been billed as to help the regular guy, the average Joe, the people that aren't rich and connected with Wall Street hedge fund bankers, to be able to buy and sell stocks and make money doing it. And what we're learning right now is these other things, whether it's Discord or Robinhood, are really no different than Twitter and Facebook. They're not really what people think they are. They're not what people bill them as. They're not what people have expected from them. And Robinhood and Discord's not being talked too much about yet, but Robinhood is, and Discord will too. There's been a big wake-up call for people. There's such a demand among people throughout the world to have free internet. And when I mean free, I don't mean free as in money. I mean a place where you can truly go and do what it is you want to do, so long as it's legal, And what we're finding is that it just doesn't really exist out there. And this Reddit group that inflated the Gamestop stocks, see, only hedge fund guys on Wall Street in New York City are allowed to short sell and artificially inflate and artificially deflate stock prices. Stocks, a lot of people say it's gambling. It absolutely is gambling, because you never know what is going to happen. Because, what GameStop shows you is it doesn't matter what a company's real value is. It's the demand for the stock that drives the price. And as soon as a bunch of little guys made a lot of money, the guy that led it, he invested, I think what I read this morning, one guy invested $50,000. Somebody correct me on this and give me the numbers exactly right. I read an article this morning. One guy turned and this just in the GameStop deal, turned $50,000 into what, $43 million? Yeah, million. Boom, this week, since like Monday. I know, I missed the boat too, okay? And I've spent a lot of money over the years at GameStop with my daughter. One in our neighborhood over in Parkland closed down a while ago. I was in shock when the GameStop in Parkland closed down. Spent a lot of money in that store. But, this is exactly what the social media platforms have done to the political movement. The little guys never get a break. It's always about either the Washington establishment, the political establishment, or the big Wall Street hedge fund guys. And the internet, which is billed as giving access to little guys like you and me, access to do a lot of things, it's a big lie. It really is, to a huge extent. And when you have Jon Stewart and Rush Limbaugh, who could not be politically more opposite, coming together on this, see, this is exactly what the social media people, the internet, has done to Trump and to the entire MAGA movement. the people in power, whether it's the Wall Street guys or the political establishment, do not want you to make it rich in the market. They don't want you to have a voice in your government. And that's a big problem for them. I don't know how much they realize it yet, because they think they control the system. And Robinhood is in big trouble. I saw a YouTube video a few days ago. There is a movement now beginning that, and I think this is I don't know what the alternative will be, but there's a movement now beginning with young people to leave social media. I'm talking about all of it, not just the Twitter. I'm talking about like the Snapchats and everything else, all the stuff that older people like us don't use, because of the lack of privacy, the lack of control, and the oppression. The way Robinhood stopped trading, selling people stocks and everything, this is insanity. And when you look at what just happened with Twitter and the president and Peter Navarro and Mike Lindell and others this week, and then you see what's happened with Robinhood, Reddit, Discord, and the GameStop stock, the reason that Rush and Jon Stewart are in agreement on this is because you're taking Republican and Democrats out of it. Once you take politics out of anything, most people agree. Politics is so polarizing, religion and politics, the two most divisive things, right? You take politics, it's the exact same thing. The exact same thing. They control speech, they control who assembles, they control who can make money. We are in a society, and this is the truth. We are in a society with the fewest freedoms that this country has ever had. And the Democrats are promising to take more of our freedoms away. Who would have ever thought? Our basic freedoms that we thought I have, the two things that have happened, the GameStop, Robinhood, and the election, and everything that's happened since, I was shocked that Peter Navarro got banned from the Twitter. Peter Navarro, he hadn't tweeted in like 2 weeks, and Twitter banned him. The president of the United States banned from Twitter while he was president. And now this with Robinhood. So this is a major wake-up call for people in this country. And either there will be an alternative spring up on the internet, or there's going to be a mass exodus of use of a lot of it. I remember when the internet was new, and a lot of you will remember this, there were like different internets. Now everything's the same. But remember Microsoft, it wasn't .com, there were websites that were .msn, and you had to be a Microsoft user to access those MSN sites. I remember because Star Trek Deep Space Nine was on then, and StarTrek.com didn't exist. They had StarTrek.msn, and I wasn't on the Microsoft network, so I couldn't access the Star Trek website. I remember that. And there were other things too, but there were different internets. So as today, it's all like one big thing, but there used to be different internets. I mean, it's a little more complex than that, but you understand what I mean. Maybe that's the future. I don't know. But there will, in this society that we live in, America is a capitalist system, and when there is a demand for something, it will happen, okay? Someone will create something, whether it, we've been talking in the short term about, we need a social media alternative. Parler's never coming back. Never coming back. They're not going to let it, okay? If it does make it back somehow, it'll never be what it would have been or even what it was. And maybe it's short-sighted thinking we need a new social media platform like Twitter, an alternative. Maybe we need something new entirely. Maybe we need a whole new internet infrastructure somewhere. Because that was the way things were going in the early days of the internet. And I'm sure with the demand that is out there for such alternatives, this this GameStop, Robinhood is a prime example of it, that someone will create it. That's how our system works. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll take our first break of the day, come back with some calls. I'll get into some other issues as well. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-CANE, 1-888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call from anywhere. We'll be back right after this.
Steve Kane radio listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to a
Steve Kane Show.
Automotive, and I got to say that this man is
Hey, Mike, hold on.
the most fair
Steve Kane Show, hello, hold on. Steve Kane Show, hold on.
Life. We took a car over there that was not being used yet. It belonged to my 90-year-old dad. Everybody I had taken it to before is charging an astronomical amount of money. But when we took it over there, Eddie took a look at it, and I got to say that this man fixed the car. It's running like a charm. Anybody that needs a mechanic, I strongly...
No, you're right, CA17, that's right.
He is just the best thing that's happened to this family as far as car maintenance goes. It's fixed. Bottom line, it's fixed, and the price was right.
Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca will never do a repair on your car that your car doesn't need. And their prices are low. Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca. Give them a call. 561-245-8101. 561-245-8101.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
All right, and we are welcoming a brand new sponsor here to the Steve Kane Show, ExpressVPN at expressvpn.com/Kane Radio, Kane, expressvpn.com/Kane Radio. I've been using ExpressVPN for a couple of years now. I started using it when we went on our last cruise because we went to Mexico, the Cayman Islands, and I wanted to be able to browse the internet on my computer, do my work, and be safe. And what ExpressVPN does, it totally I'm using it right now on my iPad and on my iPhone 11 Pro that I live stream on YouTube with. And even though I'm not on public Wi-Fi on my phone, I'm still using ExpressVPN. It encrypts all of your internet activity. And what that means is all these prying eyes on the internet that target you to push ads at you, they can't do it with ExpressVPN. It blocks you from getting all your data being collected by all these big tech guys. If you're using Wi-Fi, when you're using Wi-Fi, that's a public radio signal. People can go in there, get into your device, and take everything. Not with ExpressVPN. Everything is completely encrypted. And another thing is, right now I'm signed into a server in Miami, but I sign into ExpressVPN servers all over the world sometimes. And if I go up to Orlando and I'm going to stay in a hotel up at Disney World, if you look at hotel prices, sometimes I'll sign in another country. It might be Africa, it might be Asia, and I'll book a hotel room in in Orlando, and you will actually find cheaper hotel rates when you are logged in from a server in another country as opposed to Florida, because I guess the cost of living's lower in some of these places, and I've done that many, many times. There's a lot of other great benefits too, just incredible security. It works on all your devices. I use ExpressVPN on my iPad, my iPhone, my Mac at home, my MacBook Pro. When I have my laptop around, I always use ExpressVPN. There's a huge discount if you go there and sign up, but you've got to go to ExpressVPN/Kane Radio. That's Kane. ExpressVPN/Kane Radio. All right, let's go to Mike in Boca.
Hey, it's Mike in Boca.
Hey, Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's great.
William, $20 super chat. Thank you.
It's just a bunch of guys that got together. They're like math geeks. And
William, $10 super sticker. Thank you.
So I think it's great. The only people that are complaining are the hedge fund guys. And they play on both sides of the fence. They play with the Republicans and the Democrats. And the Democrats are going to stay, they're going to investigate, and the SEC is allegedly going to look into it. But they really can't do too much because they're going to get exposed. Nancy already got exposed with something she did with Tesla. And
Yeah.
the other people have done stuff. And they're just going to cover for each other. But I think it's great. It's happened before. There was a movie called The Big Short. I don't know if you remember it. It was based on a group of doctors that betted against the housing market,
Yeah, yeah.
and they made tons of money. And so it's happened before in other stocks.
Yeah, see, this is bigger. This is bigger. I'm not a stock market guy, and talking about the inner workings of short selling and all this stuff to me is terminal. But this is what got me. And I didn't even bring this up really. I mentioned it a little bit at the end of the show yesterday with Richard Pearl, because he's a stockbroker, Richard Pearl too. Yeah, so that's why I brought it up to him. But Rush just had this brilliant analogy, and he was so right on the money, and I didn't pick up on it because every time I heard the GameStop Robinhood story, I just turned the dial. I didn't want to hear it. But you're talking about the big, powerful elite going, bringing down the little guy, whether it's the MAGA movement and President Trump, because we're not supposed to have a voice in our government. That's only an illusion. Or the small stock investor like these Robinhood guys from the Reddit group. You're not supposed to have any influence, any voice, or any say in any aspect of our government or our society. And if you get too uppity, they come down on you. And Robinhood came down on people yesterday, just like Twitter came down on Peter Navarro, Mike Lindell, and President Trump.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
Yeah, but like I said, it's going to happen again, and people are wising up to it. And on another note, speaking of stocks, I read an article that I kind of forgot about this. Why do you think that President Trump did not give a pardon to Martha Stewart?
I don't know, and I do remember now I could be wrong about this, but I don't think they get along. When Martha Stewart got out of prison, she had a spinoff of The Apprentice. Martha Stewart had her own version. They did one season, and I watched it because I was a big fan of President Trump's The Apprentice, and I watched it, and it was okay. It wasn't as good. It was different. It wasn't as good. It was better than the Schwarzenegger one, but it wasn't as good as Trump's, and it was lowly rated and faded away after that one season. And President Trump had made some not kind comments to Martha Stewart about the ratings of that show. So maybe they don't get along. But she's already done her time. Why would he? She did her time like years ago. It may not even been on their radar.
Yeah, well, he's postpardoned other people.
Yeah, maybe she never asked. Maybe she doesn't care. Maybe she likes the idea of being a convicted felon. I don't know.
I just read an article about it. I kind of forgot about it. I was like, that's it.
Yeah. No, it never even occurred to me. Yeah, I know. I saw an article about that too this morning. I guess people are trying to get us talking about Mark. The media are desperate. The media works so hard to get Trump out of office, and they miss him so much. They're trying to get I can tell when I watch the media how much they miss Trump, because they're really struggling. Yeah, the 24-hour news cycle is not as interesting as it was.
Did you watch? Greg Kelly was great last night. Did you watch him?
I did not watch any of Newsmax last night. I was tied up with something.
It was great.
Well, what did he have? What did he have that was so great? Did he have something special?
He had, you know what? I just woke up. So.
Oh, you forgot. It must not have been that great, Mike. All right, Mike. It was great, but he can't remember what it was, but it was great, whatever it was. He just forgot. No, I can tell watching the media how much they are struggling to have interesting content. And I'll tell you, the biggest story yesterday, I didn't hear anyone talk about on TV because everyone's talking about the GameStop Robinhood thing. But I was talking about the Proud Boys leader. I'm not going to go through it again because I talked about it quite a bit yesterday. But the Proud Boys leader finding out that he's an FBI informant, I think was the biggest story of yesterday. And the way they picked him up before the breach. There's a lot about that story. And I found it highly suspicious that I didn't see it focused on at all in any of the cable news yesterday. I'm not saying that it wasn't reported. Okay? Reporting something in a mention is one thing. But the head of the Proud Boys, we found out yesterday, was a Reuters story, which means it was well sourced. They had a prosecutor, his own lawyer, and a federal judge. They all confirmed it to Reuters. And that was the biggest story yesterday. And the media didn't want that story out there. And it relates to because, well, wait a minute, they were a part of the breach. But they picked him up on weapon charges before and took him out of D.C. It was almost like they picked up their informant and kept him from being a part of the breach, which would have been a serious crime. They can't let their informant become a part of a major crime. So, when did they know and what did they know and all of that are the kind of questions that you would think the media, if they were really interested in getting to the bottom of anything, would be talking about yesterday. And I didn't see any meaningful coverage about the Proud Boys leader being an FBI informant. And I know a lot of you guys out there are always praising the Proud Boys. If you don't think that's a major story, you're kidding yourself. My opinion would be that was the biggest story of the day yesterday. I talked about it quite a bit. And I don't believe that story that they picked him up on these gun charges. I think that was an excuse to get their informant from committing a crime, which would have been the breach. And I do believe the FBI source that there was going to be an incident the day before that they informed the Capitol Police about came from him. So, I got to wonder how many of these other MAGA groups have been infiltrated with informants for the FBI. And is him being an informant for the FBI, does that have anything to do with the fact that the Proud Boys seem to be at every major event around the country where Antifa are? I don't know. There's all kinds of questions. And the media didn't want to touch it yesterday. Which tells me that this speculation that I'm sharing with you has, well, I'm probably right about at least some of it. Or they'd be all over this story. The fact that they're not, again, I'm not talking about a mention. I'm talking about panel discussions, talking about how strange it is, and having their FBI experts on that are pundits give an analysis of what happened and ask if it has anything to do with how informants are handled, because you can't let an informant go out and do crime like that. Let's take our break for the bottom of the hour. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Seal. Barry did a great job for me.
William, another $20 super chat. Thank you very much.
One of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Seal.
I want to praise Barry Siegel, and one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. And you have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach for my sister because her husband died.
Again, if you're new here, make sure you subscribe.
She had not revised this trust since 1997. And Barry says every 3 years at least you got to. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. So we'll call from South Carolina. I know the laws are different.
Steve Kane Show.
Just asking for information for my
Hey, hold on.
Now, most people would just blow you up, right? Almost.
Oh, this is Steve's weighted blanket that I got him from My Pillow. 30% off with the promo code Kane. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit.
Very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, and this and that. But I wanted to say, character, integrity, these are the most important things.
Steve Kane Show.
And all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They
Hold
all
on.
have that you can trust them, and you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for it.
Welcome back, everyone. 31 minutes after the hour. My name's Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Our number toll-free from anywhere, no matter where you were listening to us or watching the program. If you're watching on YouTube, listening on an app, or one of our South Florida radio stations, the number is toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631. Good morning. What's your name?
Hi, Brian. This is Michigander calling.
Hey, Michigander. What's up?
Hey, I got a couple things for you. Actually, first of all, I was under the weather for a couple days, so I'm kind of out of the loop a little bit, and I thought you're the go-to guy. I wanted to comment, though, on what you were saying about how these news affiliates, they have absolutely nothing to talk about. Trump's kind of out of the loop now, but I do watch snippets on, like, YouTube. I don't watch CNN per se, or...
Well, what I mean is, people every time there's a presidential election, and I've been doing this for a long time, but I remember, like, the first time I remember this is when Clinton was leaving office. People would say, what are you going to talk about when Clinton's gone? What are you going to talk about when Bush is gone? What are you going to talk about when there's no Obama? What are you going to... talk radio goes on, and we're professional talkers, and we're not trying to craft a narrative like the news. The news media had a major boom the last, really, 5.5 years since the President Trump came down the escalator, and now they're lost. They're a bunch of Trump haters whose lives have been consumed with their rage against Donald Trump, and they got nowhere to go with it now. They don't even know how to craft a news story because everything was about their Trump hatred these last few years.
Just a little light humor for the listeners, because I watched just a snippet of that Rachel Maddow, and yesterday she's so excited because Jen Psaki is doing press briefings every day, and it's so exciting. There's so much information out there now. And this is kind of leading into a question, because I can't stand Erin Burnett, but I just caught just a snippet, and she was talking about how one of the congressmen went down to Florida to get back into Trump's good graces.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy. He met with the president at Mar-a-Lago yesterday.
So I'm trying to figure out, did they? Because I didn't really get a whole lot out of that on Newsmax.
There was nothing came out other than a picture, but two things I imagine happened. And the president, you can pick up our radio stations at Mar-a-Lago, or you can just listen to us on iHeartRadio, President Trump, WWNN, or watch me on YouTube, President Trump, Brian Craig. Since he's in town now, I can talk directly to President Trump. I would imagine there were two things they talked about. One is the impeachment trial, that's coming up, because, the House Republicans have a role in that. Okay, and he's a Republican leader. But the main thing I think McCarthy's panicked about is primarying Republicans out of office as the elections come up, because that's what President Trump's mission is, I think, right now, is to primary these rhino traitorous Republicans out of office in the midterm elections.
Dropping that? Aren't they kind of dropping that? Because what it looked like yesterday is Nancy Pelosi was more upset with, what's her name, Marjorie Greene.
Yeah. I don't know, is Marjorie Greene carrying a gun? I thought it was just Brober had the gun. Does she have a gun too?
Well, that's why they're trying to get rid of her. Because she is the danger.
Well, listen, I don't know too much about Marjorie Greene, other than what I've seen in the last few days, okay? Well, what I do like about her is that Nancy Pelosi and AOC and the left hate her so much. So that's reason enough to like her. But I know she may be involved in some crazy conspiracies here and there. I don't know. That's what they say. I haven't followed her life and career as much as others, but I'll tell you this: we need more strong Republicans that are not afraid and say what they think. I don't need outspoken people that I agree with all the time. We need Republicans, Laura Loomer types who stand up and tell you what they're thinking.
Absolutely. Yep.
So, well, thank you, Will. $20 super chat there. Thank you.
Going through
impeachment? Yeah, the impeachment trial in the Senate will happen. I mean, I don't know if it's legal. They don't have a judge. I don't know how you can have a trial without a judge. You've got a member with Leahy. You've got a member of the jury acting as the judge. That doesn't sound like America.
It's just a little ridiculous, though. But
well, here the thing. Hey, Michigander, appreciate the call. They just, the left and like the media, they just cannot let their hatred of Trump go. They don't realize Trump is a bigger part of their life than even the MAGA people's lives, right? Because every moment was just consumed with their rage towards him. All right. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Morning, Brian. How are you?
Good. What's your name?
My name is Robbie, and I'm from Ohio.
Robbie in Ohio. Whereabouts in Ohio are you?
I am in Delaware, which is north of Columbus.
Okay. What's on your mind, Robbie in Ohio?
Yeah, I just wanted to say I tracked down the whole Keystone Pipeline thing and the money trail, and it looks like Warren Buffett's behind it because he has a lot of the train system, and I just think that it's kind of crazy that all those people lost their jobs, and it looks like Biden's,
Okay, well, let me tell you the big secret here. You're half right. Okay, most of the oil in the United States is transported by rail, and Warren Buffett has a huge interest in rail. But he is not the number one business that is against not just the pipeline, but further exploration of oil in this country. The oil industry secretly are opposed to it. Okay? And I know that for a fact because I've had a conversation with someone who's big in the oil business. Talk to me about this. Why do you think the oil industry would be opposed to the pipeline and more drilling in this country?
I just believe because it hurts their profit.
Yes, that's right. Because, oil, coal, natural gas are like commodities. And the price of them is based on supply, right, and demand. And the greater the supply, the less valuable it is. It's kind of like the diamond business, how diamonds are not nearly as rare. Some say they're not rare at all, but the people that hoard them, hide them, and keep what's available to the public at a minimum, which increases the value. The oil industry itself thinks that there is too much oil out there, the gas prices are too low, and they want to increase the prices. Absolutely. And no one talks about that, but I believe that the oil industry is more responsible than Warren Buffett and the Sierra Club and all these global warming alarmist and green companies are, so far as stopping pipelines and oil wells and things like that.
Gotcha. And I have one other question. Do you think that, because I've thought about this a lot, do you think the stock market is manipulated for and Gates?
The stock market is always manipulated by these big money hedge fund guys, the big bankers, people that can buy. Do you own any stocks?
Yes.
Okay, like when you buy a stock, how much money do you spend at a time? On average. Don't be embarrassed.
I mean, I have it diversified, so...
No, but if you went out to buy stock today, how much money would you spend? Just how much? Cash value.
Probably about 20,000.
20,000? What do you do for a living that you got 20,000? Well, you're unusual. Most people, but even that small time, most people when they buy stock will spend a couple $100 in the way things are now with Robinhood and things like this. Because with these online stock buying apps, you don't have to buy a full stock. You can buy like 1/100th of an Amazon stock or something. You know what I mean? So people are investing with $5 or $10. And these big Wall Street guys have always manipulated prices by buying millions of dollars worth of it and leaking things out. If you ever that's what the movie Wall Street, not the remake, the original Wall Street with Michael Douglas was all about, how these Wall Street guys manipulate stock prices for their benefit. And then they sell them, and then they make the profit after they drive them up, right? This is the first instance that we know of where small-time investors have done it.
Gotcha. I don't understand, too, why Bill Gates is buying up all this farmland.
William, $20 super chat. Thank you. Ain't got any stocks. Yeah, I agree. He doesn't have any stocks. Yeah, okay. Hey, what was that question? I missed it. I agree. I'm not going to give up.
It was Bill Gates was buying up all this farmland.
Yeah, I read it. I was shocked last week. I learned about this about a week or so ago. That Bill Gates, he's either the first or second largest holder of farmland in the United States. Yeah.
Just became first because he acquired a lot of farm.
Okay, so what do you have a problem? Are you concerned about that?
Well, yeah, because you never know.
But what concerns you? What concerns you?
Just the farmers are the ones that supply the
food.
Cane.
Okay. Now you're okay. You're in Ohio. You're in Ohio. I'm in Florida, but I'm originally from Ohio. Columbus, Ohio is my hometown, and Ohio, yeah, Columbus. So when I would get outside of Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, what is most of Ohio? 85-90% is farms, right? And yeah. Ohio's all farms. It's all green. If you get out of Columbus or Cincinnati and Cleveland. Okay, and one thing, and I know farmers today around the country. What kind of farmer do you think I have never met in my life? And I'm not talking about crops. What type of farmer do you think I've never met in my life? And I'm not talking about a crop, like a wheat farm. I don't mean like that. Okay, I'll answer. You're not going to get it. I've never met, and you know what? You may say the same. I've never met a poor farmer.
Oh, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, they're all rich. You know, everybody thinks grapes of wrath when they hear about farms or the Waltons and something like that. Maybe it used to be that way. They're all rich. And one thing about farming is they get huge, all this talk about corporate welfare, they get huge tax subsidies. A lot of rich people own farms. I don't know if he still does, but a few years ago I heard Glenn Beck talk about how he was a farmer. You know, rich people buy farms all the time because they get a whole bunch of money from the government, sometimes for not even growing crops. Sometimes growing crops that no one wants to buy, like ethanol subsidies, for example. So Bill Gates, if the story is true, and I've read it, that he's the largest owner of farmland in the world, it's not some conspiracy that Bill Gates is trying to get control of our food supply. That's not it. There's huge financial incentives to own farms and farmland. Yeah, it's not some. He's not trying to hoard the. He's not trying to hoard the food supply. He wants all the tax benefits and the federal subsidies that they give you as an owner of a farm. And when I said I've never met a poor farmer, you probably never thought of it that way before.
Well, the reason I didn't is because I watched the guy Morgan Spurlock in Super Size Me 2, where he was going to do a chicken farm, and in that documentary, it shows that 99% of those farmers are claiming they're $2 to $3 million in debt.
No, it's all lies. It's all lies. It's all lies. Farmers are. I've never met a poor farmer. They're all rich, to different levels. Some are richer than others. Some may not be a multimillionaire. Some might just be a millionaire. But yeah. Hey, listen. Thanks for the call. All right, I'm going to take our last break of the first hour. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. Our number toll free 1-888-GO-CANE-1 888-465-2631. We've started out very well today. Great calls so far today. And interesting conversations. And we are keeping it open phones today. I don't say open phone Friday because Rush says that. But we're keeping it open phones today so long as you're relevant. You know, we don't want to talk about, the tape on my windows behind me today. But if you're relevant to the news and things like that, we're pretty much open phones today at 1-888-GO-CANE-1. We'll be right back after this.
I'm Dr. Jeanette.
Welcome. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. And William, thank you for the super chats. Thank you so much.
Now you need a cure for the resulting anxiety and depression. Join us for the perfect prescription to help you cope with the world.
Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday nights at 11.
If you want answers about love, anger, pain, and relationships, join us for your chance to call in and share your stories, tears, or laughs. Take the opportunity to tell me what's on your mind.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
All right, welcome back. 48 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. You're on the air. What's your name?
Hi, Brian. This is John in Wellington.
Hey, John. What's up?
Something dawned on me while you guys were conversing. This, the so-called impeachment
Yeah.
and executioner,
Yeah.
any intention of participating in it? The whole thing is ridiculous. Why does
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. I think that President Trump, for the most part, is not going to recognize it. He has a lawyer, and they may have to send some representation there, but you don't have a judge. A member of the jury is going to be the judge, right? Leahy, which is, I've never heard of such a thing before. And remember, Dershowitz, who was originally going to be part of Trump's legal team, withdrew. He says it's not a legal trial, and he won't take part in a trial that's unconstitutional. You can't try. Let me finish. He said you can't try a former president. And then President Trump the other day did something that no president has ever done. When he opened up his office, he made a big deal that this is the office of the former president, right? So I don't think President Trump is going to testify because I don't think he's going to recognize it as a trial, and he's going to ignore it. That's what I think. For a legal precedent, because it's not a real trial.
If that was the case, though, why would he even send representation?
Well, he may be required to have some type of representation through some subpoena power from the Senate. I don't know. But I think the office of former president was made such a big deal about because of the phony trial that's coming up. You can't try a former president. I think that's why he did that, because that's very unusual. They all have offices, but they don't come out with a huge title like that. All right, thanks for the call. Good morning, you're on the radio. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name?
Hi.
You are on the air, yes.
Okay, this is Lisa from Maine.
Okay, what's on your mind?
On the Bill Gates thing on the farm thing, is he buying up all the land for solar panels, maybe?
No, he's buying it. Listen, Bill Gates has money he has so much money, burning his money could power entire cities, and he'd still be one of the richest men in the world, right? Yeah, he has more money than the human mind can even comprehend. So he does things all the time, I don't think for any conspiracy. He's just got so much money. And as I told the caller before the break, farming is an incredible opportunity for people to get government money, because the government gives farmers money sometimes to not even grow crops. They'll pay you not to grow crops on your farmland. Or they'll pay you for the crops you grow far above what the market prices are. And there's also huge tax deductions for farmers. That's why so many Hollywood celebrities, sometimes you'll hear, have a ranch or a farm. That's why they do it. Huge government subsidies, which is, they call it corporate welfare, where the government gives you money, and huge tax deductions. That's why. He's not trying to hoard the food supply or have huge solar, to try to turn the country solar. No, it's for money purposes and financial purposes and tax purposes.
Okay, because I just saw or read where you need like thousands of acres for solar panels, and seeing pictures of these solar panels,
Well, solar panels, my neighbor has solar panels on her roof that she uses to heat her swimming pool. So, is there some problem you have with solar panels?
Or, well, if you get rid of coal, there goes, big cities that uses it, they want to turn into solar panels, I guess.
Well, I know a lot. Well,
have
one of my close friends is Mike, a good friend of mine, is thinking about buying solar panels for his home. I'm not a big solar panel guy. I don't think it's worth it because I used to have DirecTV, the dish, years ago, and I got rid of it because in Florida we have a rainy season and it rains all the time, and every time a thick cloud cover would come over the house, I wouldn't be able to watch TV, so I got rid of it. And it seems to me that's kind of like how solar works on the house too, you know what I mean? We got a whole rainy season of cloudy times of year, and it just doesn't seem to be a good thing, but I don't know. Is there some type of solar conspiracy that I'm unfamiliar with?
No, I was just reading on that and seeing all these acres that have solar panels. But anyway, thank you.
Well, appreciate the call. This thing with Bill Gates. Okay, here's the thing with Bill Gates. Okay, he used to be a somebody. Right? I mean, do you guys remember the days when you would turn on, I'm a Mac guy now. I have one Windows computer here at the radio station that I use. Everything else in my life is Mac. I got my iPad, my iPhone, my iMac, my MacBook, and, but it used to be everything was Windows, right? Everything was Windows. And before we had high-speed internet like we have today, when Windows would come out with a new version, remember the people waiting in line overnight to get the latest update in Windows? I don't know why they just didn't go the next morning like I would do and get it, or send for the CD-ROM in the mail. But it was a big thing. And, Bill Gates was a revolutionary person back in the 90s. Okay? But what has he done lately? Right? So Bill Gates has a couple things going on. One, he's got more money than our minds can fathom. So he's always involved in something, because he's just got money to blow and he's got nothing else to do. But he's also on a search to be relevant again, right? And I'm not saying that he's not a relevant person, but Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. What did he do after that? I know he did some things, but what did he do that ever equaled that? And what you have a lot of times with someone who's an innovator early in, they're like one-hit wonders, or an actor who gets an Academy Award for their first role. A lot of these people are huge innovators. They have a, Oscar for their first movie. They have this massive hit that everyone's talking about, and then they can't, it's their first hit, they can't get anyone, or they invent something, and everything they do beyond that, people don't know. So Bill Gates, he's got a lot of money to blow, so he spends money on everything, but he's also out of the loop. Everyone's talking about Elon Musk. Everyone's talking about who's an incredible innovator, right? I mean, I love Elon Musk. He's amazing. Amazing. I've been meaning to take a trip up to the Space Center. Haven't been there in many years because all the SpaceX stuff is up there now. I want to go see it. I just, maybe I will sometime soon. Who else do they talk? Jeff Bezos with Amazon. When people talk tech, they talk Jack Dorsey. They talk Google. When's the last time when someone's talking tech, they talked about Bill Gates? What, 98, 99? So, a lot of people read into him a lot, that he's involved in some vast global conspiracy with everything. Like, you hear this all the time with Bill Gates. He's just one of the richest people to ever live. He's a one-hit wonder with the Windows system. And he doesn't know what to do with himself, and he's got nothing else to invent and develop that is going to be a star like his Windows operating system was. So he does all these things trying to be something. I think Bill Gates is harmless, and it's amazing to me, especially this last year, how people have these huge, like the thing with the farmland. You know, there's all kinds of, oh, well, he wants the, like you heard the last caller, she's not the first person I've heard say this. He wants the farmland, he's the number one owner of farmland, he'll control the food supply, fill it with solar panels, and force us off coal. No, he just wants the government subsidies, the corporate welfare, the tax breaks. That's what he wants. And he's got nothing else to do, so he wants to go around and say he's a farmer. I've heard Glenn Beck say he's a farmer. I mean, you know, that's how these rich guys, you know what they call it? I can't say the words on the radio, but they call it FU money. Right? And that's what, I wish I had that. I could use it. But that's what Bill Gates has. So don't read too much into what Bill Gates does. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to, you know. I guess I could get people all jazzed up on conspiracy theories, but that's just not what I do here. Now, if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not, go to my YouTube channel. Right behind me, I have Steve's My Pillow weighted blanket. I'm going to meet up with Steve today and give it to him. I ordered this for Steve. Got it about a week ago when I ordered my bathrobes for myself and my wife from My Pillow, and I got 30% off. I used the promo code Kane. I ordered it just like the rest of you guys do. I went to mypillow.com and ordered the weighted blanket for Steve. I used the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, and got 30% off. That's my belated Christmas present to Steve that I'll give to him today. And, you know, Mike Lindell, I heard that he's starting a super PAC now. Yeah, have you heard this? He's starting a super PAC. And that's right. And, you know, support Mike Lindell. Support this program. Go to mypillow.com. There's incredible items there. And every special you see there, you can take advantage of with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E, at checkout. I'll tell you about the weighted blanket. Weighted blankets are amazing. Have you ever used one? Weighted blankets are just what it says. It's a blanket with a little bit of weight on it. And what it does is it stops your body from twisting and turning while you sleep at night. If you have your head on the My Pillow and your body under your weighted blanket, I promise you, you will get the most restful night's sleep you've ever had, because when you toss and turn, even though you may not be aware of it consciously, you're waking up. It's like having sleep apnea. And you really don't get that rested sleep if you're twisting and turning. I've used the weighted blankets. They're very comfortable. And let me tell you, I looked at this. My Pillow weighted blanket is the best weighted blanket I've ever seen. It is very fashionable, beautiful, and is very well made, even though the price is so very low. So go to mypillow.com, check out that weighted blanket. It comes in different sizes, different colors. Use the promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. I'm going to give Steve his weighted blanket today, and hopefully on Monday we'll start getting a report from him telling us how much he loves his My Pillow weighted blanket. Again, promo code Kane at checkout, K-A-N-E. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show. We'll come back with your calls and some other topics as well. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Hour number 2 begins now.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every
William
month?
says they need to remove big tech. Thanks for all. Yeah, you know, somebody had mentioned, I forgot to mention it, somebody had mentioned in the chat earlier, after I said Elon Musk might come up with a whole new internet system, and Elon Musk has been putting these internet satellites up in low orbit to give internet access to people in remote areas that don't have access to internet still, like places in Alaska and things like this. And he could start a whole new internet platform beyond the .com that we're so accustomed to. There's no doubt about it.
There's a 25% chance that you will develop a foot ulcer at some point in your life. And foot ulcers, when you have diabetes, can lead to severe health consequences, up to and including amputation. Now, Medicare recognizes the importance of preventative foot care and has provided coverage for those of you who are at-risk patients. I want to introduce you to my good friends at the Soul Authority. The Soul Authority, at little or no cost, you can receive your very own pair of therapeutic shoes made specially for diabetics. You're probably not aware, but as a diabetic Medicare recipient, you are entitled to one pair of high-quality diabetic shoes with 3 custom inserts per year. These are not the ugly Frankenstein shoes. These are name brand shoes. They're stylish. They'll provide you with the extra width and
I'm going to talk about this Governor Cuomo thing in New York with the nursing home deaths when we get back.
Oftentimes, amputation due to diabetes.
Now again, make sure you're subscribed and click that notification bell. On Fridays, I do a live stream from my home studio. So if you're subscribed and you have the notification bell clicked, you'll get a notification when I go live later today. And when I do the live stream from home, it's a little more relaxed because I'm not on the radio then, and I can talk to the chat room much better.
SOLEauthority.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you.
Are you suffering from decreasing energy, poor libido, weight gain, a foggy mind, an unsatisfactory sex life, or any of the symptoms of the aging process? Good news, folks. These processes are completely reversible. With his 20 years of experience in age management medicine, Dr. Matez can offer safe, effective protocols that will work for everyone. The Boca Raton Center for Age Management offers hormone replacement therapies, intravenous therapies, peptide therapies, and a host of other cutting-edge modalities that
We'll be back in about 1 minute.
give you back the vigor of youth. If you want to get back to feeling good, looking good, and functioning well, call Dr. Matez at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management at 561-953-5490. That's 561-953-5490. Or visit their website at brc4am.com. That's brc4am.com for the Boca Raton Center for Age Management.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free.
We're coming back right now.
855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 1-888-GO-KANE-1.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. All right, you know, I was talking earlier about how the 24-hour news cycle, they're just in total state of desperation because they don't have Trump to kick around anymore, right? And for 5 years, because you got to go back to the campaign, for 5 years, the media have been driven by their Trump derangement syndrome. They've been consumed with rage against him. In fact, the lineup on MSNBC and CNN has been shifted around to best disperse that Trump rage. And now that the man they hate is at Mar-a-Lago, they don't know what to do because their whole life is revolved around hating Trump. And he's not in the news every day right now. He'll be back, but he's not in the news every day right now. Not with something meaningful. But what are you going to do with a photograph of Kevin McCarthy, you know? No one loves Trump more than me, but he's not in the news every day like he was. In the media, they don't know what to do. And they also have another conflict. They don't want to report the news. The media don't want to report the news. They want to derive a narrative to try to shape your mind, to brainwash you. And I was talking yesterday, big story yesterday about the Proud Boys guy being an FBI informant, huge. I talked about that quite a bit yesterday and a little bit at the beginning of today's show. And there's another huge story that's being reported, but it's not being handled as it should. And this involves Fredo's brother, Governor Cuomo of New York. The nursing home deaths, they're saying, are 56% higher than he's been reporting from COVID due to his inaction. And I'll tell you, early on last year during the COVID crisis, when Cuomo had his first press conference, especially the second day, I was pissed because I thought, this is not what we need. Because what Cuomo was doing during his daily press conference, it turned into a clown show after a while. Especially when he had his brother on, Fredo, and everything. It was just ridiculous. You know, and he became a rambling lunatic after a while. I remember watching one. He was pissed off at Chris Cuomo for getting COVID, and he was talking about how he left the law firm to go back into TV, and my dad was pissed. You know, remember all that? It was just nutty. But in the beginning, though, he was running for president of the United States. Governor Cuomo thought he would either be the nominee this time or next time. And I thought he was, in the early days, was undermining President Trump's press conferences, because he would come on at around 11 and have these long press conferences, and that's what would be discussed all day. And then the president would come on later in the day, and he was, President Trump, and he was kind of following that, and it angered me. I thought he was undermining President Trump and undermining the effort during the height of the crisis. And I was also concerned that this jerk was going to be the nominee either the last time or in 2024, and he could be president. You know, Chris Cuomo's father, Mario Cuomo, was the governor of New York back in the Reagan era, and he was a big Democrat who always had a dream of being president, but he was nasty and unlikable, just like his sons, and he never made it. Okay, Mario Cuomo. Yeah, it's true, and he thought he was going to make it, and he's blown it. And the media yesterday, while they may have mentioned this story that the nursing home deaths due to COVID are 56% higher, they're really not assigning blame to him, because the mainstream liberal Democrat media, they're not based in Washington, they're based in New York. So they all are friends with Cuomo. He's in their club. You know, this guy is he's the harbinger of death. I mean, he is responsible. They say 56%, they have some number like 12,000, which I think is kind of low. But these people not only died because of his incompetence and arrogance. He had time to write a book. How did he have time to write a book when this is going on in his state? Unbelievable. And these people have died horrible deaths. A friend of my family, that I don't know this person, but a friend of the family is in the hospital right now with COVID and not expected to make it, an elderly person. And what is so sad and so tragic beyond the death itself, when someone is in a nursing home or a hospital with COVID, is that for some reason they're not allowed to see their family. They keep them isolated. I don't know why they can't put them in protective gear and let them go in. These people, they died alone, most of them in New York. They died a horrible death, most of it meaningless. Cuomo would not let the nursing homes test people for COVID. They were taking people out of the hospitals that were carriers, sitting them in the nursing homes, and no one was allowed to be tested. There's so much incompetence going on. There's so many dead people because of this guy who died lonely deaths of isolation. And the media, new report, 56%. Why aren't they outside his governor's mansion demanding answers for Governor Mengele here? This is a Holocaust that has happened among seniors in the state of New York. And Janice Dean is out there taking the lead on this, and she's a very vocal advocate for those. She lost her in-laws due to Cuomo's incompetence, Governor Mengele. But where's the expelling this Congressman Marjorie Greene from Congress? Why aren't they talking about removing him from the governor's mansion? How did he have time to write a damn book and have half-day-long press conferences when this and this happened in his state, in large part due to his arrogance and incompetence? And he was totally checked out. All he cared about every day was the build-up to the press conference that he did, the press conference, and then what people were saying after. Governor Cuomo is a sick, twisted man. And thousands upon thousands of people are dead because of what he did not do. And he's got a lot of responsibility in this. And the media, because he's a Democrat, complete immunity. If he was a Republican, if this were Governor Ron DeSantis, oh my goodness. You know, we have the oldest population in America here in Florida. We don't have this problem because we've got a good, competent governor, Ron DeSantis. If this were Governor DeSantis in Florida instead of Cuomo, they would be camped out following him and his family everywhere they went. He wouldn't get a moment's rest. You know what? And the media would be right to do it. But Cuomo's a Democrat, so he's got a license to, well, literally, to kill. All right, 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. 888-465-2631. Good morning. Good morning. You're on the air. Yes, you're on the air. What's your name?
My name's Mark. I got a quick question about this Green New Deal. I understand that Nancy Pelosi just bought a whole bunch of stock in Tesla. Isn't that conflict of interest with all her persuasion and voting?
It may be. But see, insider trading's legal if you're in Congress. See, Congress makes the laws. So Congress makes the laws. So they make the laws in a way that benefit them. They can't slander anyone on the floor. Insider trading's okay. You know.
How can the people stop it?
You can't. You can't stop it because they make the laws in Congress and they pass the laws that benefit them. You can't stop it.
Saying, but what I'm trying to say is there should be a way we can go from the lower government up to the.
Well, it's the way it works. Like for example, Marjorie Greene. They don't like her from Georgia. The new congresswoman from Georgia. They don't like her. And I know she's into conspiracy theories, and I saw the video of her with David Hogg. I wouldn't have done that, myself. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying I agree or disagree with her. The only thing I know about her is Pelosi and AOC hate her. That's all I know about her, really. In the David Hogg video, I did see that. I know nothing about her, but they're trying to get her expelled from Congress. Why? Because they don't agree with her politically. That's not how you do it. You expel someone through Congress by running an opponent against them in their home district and voting them out of office. People in Congress are representative of their constituents in their district. And a congressperson, they only have like 250,000 people that vote for them. So Nancy Pelosi is from San Francisco. And in San Francisco, they agree with her. So that's okay. In Georgia, in that district, they agree with Green. So that's okay. These lunatics in New York, in Brooklyn, they agree with AOC. That's okay. I mean, that's how it works.
Well, Brian, let me ask you a question. They can recall Governor Newsom. How come we can't recall Congress people?
Well, no, there's a process to remove. I did some research on this yesterday. In fact, I made a YouTube video. You guys should look at it. It's in more detail. There have been 20 members of Congress that have been expelled throughout our history. Okay? 17 of them were expelled because they joined up and supported the Confederacy during the Civil War, which was, of course, an insurrection against the country. By the way, not one Republican has ever been expelled from Congress, Democrats all. The other ones were convicted of bribery and things like this, So, so if somebody commits a crime while in Congress, they can be expelled from Congress. But Nancy Pelosi has not committed any crimes. Legal crimes. They may be moral crimes.
I don't know. Well, I just wanted to make your listeners aware of this.
Yeah, this was when she was Speaker the first time. When she was Speaker the first time, and she was passing all this green crap when Obama was around, she had investments in green companies. They're allowed to do it. Members of Congress, you can be for example, oil companies and big tobacco are identified as businesses that support Republicans. Republicans can own stock and buy and sell stock in oil companies and tobacco companies all day. Someone mentioned Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart went to prison for doing something that members of Congress do all the time. Like you're talking, like there's an allegation that Pelosi, the way she bought and sold her Tesla stock, I don't know, I'm not saying this is true, but this is what people are saying, was influenced by what they're doing, right, with their green crap. Okay, that's insider trading. Martha Stewart went to prison for that. You and I would go to jail for that. But Congress, they're immune legally because they make the laws.
That's crazy about that two-tier justice.
Well, it's the way it is. I mean, it's the way it is. And once they get up there, if they don't stand up for that two-tier system, they go to run them out. Who's the young Republican in the wheelchair that's up there? I keep forgetting his name. Hawthorne. They're trying to run him out. They're trying to run him out now, calling him a fraud. They're questioning what he was doing when he got into the accident that resulted to him spending the rest of his life confined to a wheelchair, because he doesn't toe the establishment line. That's what I was talking about at the beginning of the show. What has happened with Robinhood and Gamestop is the same thing that the political establishment have done to Trump. There's certain rules for the hedge fund guys, there's certain rules for the political establishment, and then the rest of us have the real rules we got to follow.
Yeah, now these hedge funds are going after the Robinhood, and they shut down Robinhood.
Yeah, because only the big hedge fund guys,
millions of dollars.
Only the big hedge fund guys have the right to manipulate stock prices. Little guys on Reddit, can't let that happen, and they come down on you. That's correct. We have a class system. It's like India.
Bankrupt what? Two of them?
We are in a class system, just like in India. We have an illusion. We have an illusion of having equality in this country. They're all, there's all this woke culture talking about systemic racism, right? We hear that all the time. Listen, that's not it. The real discrimination is between the rich and powerful and the regular people. Notice I didn't say poor, although we're poor, most of us, by their standards.
Right. Yeah. Well, what brought this to my attention was when I was reading up on that Robinhood thing, then I found another article about the all these spending bills that they had to spend so much money by the end of their amount of time. And the guy went into the millions and millions and millions of dollars that are getting spent, like Cuomo up in New York.
Well, look. There's two-tier system. Who are the two most famous people on CNN right now? Chris Cuomo. That's one. Yeah, Chris Cuomo. We lovingly call him Fredo. Chris Cuomo and Anderson Cooper. Okay? Now we know, do you think, those are their two, I know there's other people there, but Anderson Cooper and Chris Cuomo are the most prominent CNN personalities. Well, do you think it's just a coincidence that Chris Cuomo is the brother of the governor of New York and the son of a past governor of New York? And his brother was on the cabinet of Bill Clinton? Do you think he's the best broadcast television journalist CNN could find? Or is he on there because he's connected to the uber rich and powerful political establishment?
Of course, he's connected.
Well, and Anderson Cooper, are you familiar with his background?
No, I try not to.
Well, yeah. Well, Anderson Cooper, his mother was Gloria Vanderbilt. Well, the Vanderbilts are one of the oldest money families in all of America, right? The old blue blood money. So is it just a coincidence that a Vanderbilt and the brother of the governor of New York are the two most prominent guys on CNN? I know there's others there, but they're the big cheese over there, the two of them. It's not a coincidence. This is not a free society we're in. And if you're a hedge fund guy, you can be like Gordon Gekko and manipulate this and manipulate that and buy this and buy that to inflate or deflate. But if you're some guy on a Reddit message board who tells your followers to do the same thing, well, then you've committed a crime. This is the same thing. This is what I was talking about today. This is the crime of Donald Trump. He bucked the political establishment system.
Trump, let me ask you a quick question. What's he been doing with his new office, and is there any way that we can help him out?
He hasn't done anything with it yet that I know of, but I'm waiting because it's right down the street from where I live. I live in I don't live in the same economics area, but I'm waiting for him to get very active in doing things in Palm Beach because I want to get involved. Hey, listen, I got to run, but thank you for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. I got to take our break, and we'll be right back with your calls after this. 1-888-GO-CANE-1 is our number. Don't go anywhere. Welcome, everyone. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Steve Kane Show. Hey, Doug. Steve Kane Show. Hey, you're next. Hold on.
Good morning. I have to talk about Brighton Dental because your sponsor is a miracle worker. I broke my tooth. I fractured it and went backwards in my mouth. My front top tooth. I put it back into the socket. It felt like it was falling out. I had pain. I couldn't even eat spaghetti.
You're right, William. Killer Cuomo doesn't care about anyone but money. That's correct. Thank you for the super chats, William. They mean a lot. I appreciate it.
To tell me he couldn't do anything. I went to Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. I traveled 139 miles. I would do it again in a heartbeat. Each way. Okay? The man sat and worked on my tooth for 2 hours.
If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Now listen, on Fridays I do a live stream from my studio at home. So if you got that notification bell clicked and you're subscribed, you'll get a notification when I go live. And the live stream I do at home, since I'm not on the radio then, I can be more interactive with the chat than I am when I'm on the air, because I gotta pay more attention to the radio audience a lot of times than the chat audience here. But when I'm doing the live streams on Fridays from home, I can pay much closer attention to the chat room, and I can converse with you all more. Thank you, Molly. You have very good calls today.
Everybody needs a great dentist, and of course, for you Steve Kane listeners, you have one, Dr. Gupta, and he's been over there at Brighton Dental. He takes really good care of you. He's very
Well, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for subscribing. Wall Street Memes. Thank you very much.
Dr. Gupta certainly is an artist, and we're so pleased to have him with us.
Yeah, I just wanted them to know if you need a dentist, and the guy is so good at what he does, he's so gentle, and I mean, I don't like dentists. This guy is a top show, and I'm going down to him to get it permanently put in, but right now, I don't have any pain. I can eat anything I want. Incredible.
Take Richie the Bush Driver's advice and go see Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. Call 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
Good morning. You're on the radio. What's your name?
Good morning, Jim in Cincinnati.
Hey, Jim. What's up?
I just wanted to say a couple things. One, it just lacks in any of these TV shows and radio shows that I tune into is confidence. And it's hard to grab confidence nowadays. I get that. But we aren't going to win if we don't stop.
Yeah.
Is the left doing what they typically do. And every time they've done this, they've overextended their, not abilities, but their plans. And it's always backfired on them. It will this time, in all these little things you're seeing. I believe that Donald Trump have seen this all along. They're waiting for it. A lot of these things couldn't just be said and believed. They had to be seen.
Well, yeah, I'll be a little more specific because you're a lot of vague generalities there. It's almost like listening to a John F. Kennedy speech. These things are the reality, and they can be seen, and they will be seen. Well, I don't know what the hell you're talking about because you're just using a lot of colorful metaphors. But anyway, yesterday there was a disgusting comment came from the Republican National Committee. The RNC said that if President Trump runs for re-election in 2024, that they're not going to support him, that they're going to remain neutral. He's our past president. He's the leader of our party. The RNC is run by, is it Romney's, his niece? And Trump gave her the damn job, and she's not going to back the leader of our party if he runs for president? She needs to get on the Ginny Craig diet, by the way, and get with the Republican Party here. What the hell?
Digging on her because she's fat or what?
I'm not digging on her. I'm pissed off at how dare she say that if President Trump runs in 2024, I'm giving her some health advice there, but
remember this, we're all pissed. And
No. But listen here. We've been talking about is Trump going to form a third party? Is the Patriot Party going to be a movement inside the Republican Party? When the Republican National Committee said yesterday, and this was an official statement, if President Trump runs in 2024, we will remain neutral. That means they're not going to support him, which really means they're going to support primary opponents. He was our 45th president, and he'll be our 47th, unless Biden resigns, then he'll be the 48th. You say a lot, but you're very vague. Be specific.
Start general to get specific.
All right, well, do both, but do it elsewhere, because I'm annoyed by you. Good morning, you're on the air. What's your name?
Sid, okay? I'm calling I need to bring this to everybody's attention. You're a two-faced.
Okay.
You play both sides of the coin. You play Trump and you play...
Listen here, I've been with Trump since 2011, 2012. I've always been for Trump. I've never been on any other side but Trump since he's been on the public scene. So if you're the one who's lying.
First of all, you turn on your callers like Richie. The best advice, you turn on Trump supporters on the phone. You cut them off constantly.
Listen. Having a disagreement with Richie or a caller is not turning my back on Trump. And so far as Richie, I'll tell you what happened with Richie, okay? A couple of things happened. One of them was off the air that you don't even know about, but I want to tell you about it. And I'm telling the audience, not you, because you've been calling for years. You'll hate me no matter what. But, you're like, you've got like Brian Craig derangement syndrome. But Richie, and I apologized on the air for this on Tuesday. On Monday's show, I had some things going on. I had some things on my mind. And we also had a lot of technical problems. And I was very cranky with the callers on Monday, including Richie. And on Tuesday's show, I apologized on the air to everyone who called on Monday. That I said I was unnecessarily rude to the callers yesterday, because I had something on my mind and we were having technical problems and I was very cranky and rough, and I apologized to him by name on the air Tuesday, all right? But with that being said, Richie has done two things. One, I've not mentioned on the air, but I'm going to mention it to you now. Richie started doing something that I think was out of line. Whatever I'm talking about, he would call in at the beginning of the show, try to be the first caller if he could, and tell me that what I was talking about was not the issue of the day, and try to hijack the show another direction. Now that's fine. As a host, it's my job to steer the show in the direction I want it to go, and I can do that. A couple weeks ago, he called me and left a message on the voicemail telling me to change the title and the thumbnail on one of my YouTube videos because he didn't agree with it. Called me over a weekend, left a message for me. He didn't like what I said in my thumbnail and title of the show, and left a message that I should change it. I mean, who does he think he is? A little too big for, I thought that was kind of arrogant.
Yeah, and I also wonder why you don't. I love Mike Lindell, and I like this one, but you talk about having your callers every day boycott Bed Bath & Beyond and others. You said nothing, and you never mentioned Julian Assange.
I never have talked about boycotting anything other than Democrats at the election. I don't support boycott. I don't support boycotts because supporting it. Listen, especially now, I'm not playing both sides. Why do you think I don't call for a boycott of Kohl's or Bed Bath & Beyond? Why do you think? And then I'll tell you the real reason.
Well, I can't. And by the way...
Well, no. You're attacking me because I've not called for a boycott of Bed Bath & Beyond because they're not carrying my pillow products, or Kohl's. So, like, as if I'm doing something bad. Why do you think... And by the way, Mike Lindell hasn't called for a boycott either. He said, God bless them, and if they want to carry my products in the future, give me a call. But why do you think Think about it now. You've got half a brain, I think. Why do you think I've not called for a boycott of Bed Bath & Beyond or Kohl's? He just hung up, people. He just hung up. I did not hang up on him. He hung up. I did not hang up on that caller. He hung up. The reason I don't call for boycotts, and the reason is this, and then we'll break. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. There's a Bed Bath & Beyond in my neighborhood next door to Best Buy. And because of COVID, we have a pretty free state here in Florida under Ron DeSantis. But there's a limitation due to local ordinances on how many people are allowed inside of retail stores. You have to wait in line to get into retail stores, even here in Florida, places like Bed Bath & Beyond and Best Buy. To call for a boycott of Bed Bath & Beyond does not hurt Bed Bath & Beyond so much as it hurts the workers inside that store. I learned about this when I was in high school. I don't know if I talked about this to you guys on the radio or I was on YouTube talking about it another time. When I was in high school, I think I talked about this on the radio, but I'll mention it real quick. I'll do the Reader's Digest version of it. When I was in 10th grade is when the Exxon Valdez oil spill happened in Alaska. A drunken oil tanker captain crashed his oil tanker filled with oil onto the shore in Alaska and spilled oil everywhere. And a lot of kids in my school were joining in on this idea of boycotting Exxon gas stations. And we didn't even drive. We weren't old enough to drive, but they were doing this thing. And my teacher, had a very wise teacher. It was and the teacher. It was an American government class, and so we talked about things in the news. And he made a brilliant guy, brilliant school teacher. I cannot remember his name. He was this was at Stranahan High School, and he was also one of the football coaches. And I can't remember the guy's name. Gosh darn it! I had him for 2 years too. But hey, that's what happens. I'm going to be 50 in a couple months. He said, if you boycott the local Exxon station, who you're really hurting is the franchisee that owns that gas station and the workers that work inside the convenience store or the gas station. Same thing goes with Bed Bath & Beyond and Kohl's. Here, to call for a boycott of anything right now is just as bad as Biden putting people out of work right now, as he's doing. Retail stores are at a skeleton crew right now because of the social distancing and the amount of people allowed in a store and the financial hits they're taking. So I'm not going to call for a boycott of anything, but I'll tell you what, coward, with your Brian Craig derangement syndrome, you hung up on me, I did not hang up on you, and you can call me out on the carpet anytime you want. And what do you guys think about Richie calling me after the show on the weekends, telling me that I need to change the title and thumbnail on my YouTube videos because he doesn't agree with it? Who the hell does he think he is? I love Richie. He's a friend of mine. Richie, I let my daughter go to the blackjack tables with Richie on our cruise. I love Richie. But sometimes he gets a little full of himself. With that being said, on Tuesday's show, I did apologize to the callers for being rough on Monday. And that's not something I do very often. And you remember, I did do that. All right, 35, and I mentioned him by name. All right, 35 minutes after the hour, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll take our break and be right back.
This is Steve Kane, and I wanted to share with you some thoughts about why I chose
Steve Kane Show.
the Gardens of Boca Raton to be
Hey,
my
Dan, hold on.
final resting place. I have always been uncomfortable with thoughts of death and dying, but the very first time that I visited the Gardens of Boca Raton, I could feel my apprehensions vanish. Just knowing that I'd be spending eternity with my family in such magnificent surroundings lifted my spirits. The Gardens of Boca
A crystal child. What is that, Charlie?
Above-ground cemetery with tranquil surroundings, a place where your loved ones can come and visit you time and time again, remembering and celebrating your life. The gardens had caring professionals available to help you in your time of need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Pre-need with 0% financing is available and prevents your family from having to deal with these matters at the time of their grief and sorrow. The Gardens of Boca Raton, dedicated to to all those who have lived and all those who live today. Let the Gardens take care of your
Well, thank you, 420.
They are taking care of my family. Schedule a tour today. Call 877-PLAN-561 or online at thegardens.com. Tell them Steve Kane sent you. This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel, and one of the most important things about sponsors.
Yeah, that's the weighted blanket I ordered for Steve back
I
there.
had to go up to Myrtle Beach for my sister because her husband died.
Steve Kane
And I
Show.
was helping her out. She had a trust and everything.
Hey, Richie.
She had not revised this trust since 1997. And Barry says every 3 years at least you got to.
Yeah, I did apologize. I did apologize.
I let the secretary know. So I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different. And I'm just
If you remember on Monday's show, I was up really early in the morning. I didn't get much sleep. I had something going on. And when I got here, we had a lot of technical problems. There was no internet. I couldn't get to my show prep that I have on my iPad. I couldn't connect Steve on the air. And there were some other technical things going on. And I was distracted by it on the air. And that's why I was in a bad mood. You put all that together. Plus, it's early in the morning. You know what I mean?
Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Hey guys, welcome back. 38 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. And look who we have on the line. Hey, Richie the bus driver. How you doing, Richie?
Yeah, good morning. First of all, I'd like to say out there to people that are listening, Brian apologized, and I thought that that was super because not too many people would do that. Secondly,
I apologized on the air on Tuesday to every caller on Monday's show.
Secondly, the reason you didn't hear from me yesterday and today, I've been trying to get online to get a shot, and it's like crazy, and it's tied up my phone and my iPad. So it started at 6 this morning, and I didn't get it again. So I'm trying to get a shot through Publix and through Indian River.
Oh, you're trying to get the vaccine. You're trying to get the vaccine.
And so I'm not. And as for me calling you off the air with the,
Don't get into specifics about what it was about.
But the thing, what I'm going to say is that I'm going to just say this to you, and this is a little bit of criticism, but not much. The first thing I was taught when I started driving a bus, we had films about you never bring problems at home or on the job to your people that you service. And it really applies to everybody. You got sometimes, and that's the first time I ever heard you were really rude the whole morning with everybody, but that's okay. I guess things happen, but I forgive you. I know you forgave me, and it's not...
Richie, hold on a second here. Listen, I'm not, Michael Savage, okay? I think Michael Savage is a great radio talk show host. What do you, and I've mentioned this before, so maybe you might know the answer. Why do you think he's so interesting on the radio, Michael Savage? It's not the issues he talks about. Why is he interesting?
Because he can be nasty.
Well, no, it's not nasty. He's a personality. He's got this Rodney Dangerfield thing. I don't get no respect, and radio people are a personality. And it's not like driving up, but I want you to think about this, okay? And I've used this analogy before. When I'm a one-man band here, I'm answering the phones, I'm running the spot, I'm doing what normally 3-4 people do, and if it's on a show like Rush, about what 12 people do. I do my own show prep. I get up at 3. I do the editing for the audio sound bites. I do all the show prep. I do the job that most shows have 4 to 5 people to do. And when there's a problem, sometimes I may lose my cool. But on top of that, for many years, for the last, about 7 years, I live stream while I'm on the radio. So think about this. When you were driving your bus, you might have some smelly homeless guy giving you a hard time that smells like urine every once in a while. But imagine if you had on your bus, right now I have about 75,000 people listening. And in the chat room, there's over 1,000 people at any given time commenting on what I'm doing. Could you imagine when you were driving your bus, you had 75,000 people watching you, and on your windshield in front of your eyes was over 1,000 people commenting on everything you did as you were driving the bus. You don't think sometimes you'd get a little cranky?
I would lose it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I operate. And I don't mind. I think it's awesome. But, you know, that's the way it is.
Just say one thing about politics, real quick. Matt Gaetz is unbelievable, and what he did yesterday with Liz Cheney, I couldn't believe it. I don't know if you got a chance to see that. That's work that's going on.
Well, let me tell you something here. Liz Cheney, shame on her. How dare she? You know, how dare she question President Trump and his motivation and his morality and his ethics and his patriotism? How many people are walking around dead or missing a foot? Or you're a veteran, and you know, you Vietnam guys don't have as many wounded veterans because they just died in the field. Now they fly them off and things like this. And every time I see those Wounded Warrior commercials, and I see a guy who's missing limbs, and his body looks like he's melted, and he has young children and a young pretty wife, I think about George Bush and Dick Cheney, who took us into that war in Iraq and lied to us about weapons of mass destruction for their own egos, for their donors, for their own personal profit. And Liz Cheney never worked. She's like John Kerry. She never worked for a damn thing in her life. Everything's been handed to her, and she is in the position she is over a selfish man that's responsible for maybe millions of people's deaths and injuries over the years because of these wars. And she's calling out the morality, the ethics, and questioning Trump. How dare she?
This is going to be either the vice president of the United States or the president someday, because this guy is really good, and he's 100. You got to see. Did you see that with Cheney at the?
Yeah, and I was talking to there's something coming up involving us with Matt Gaetz soon. I'll get more information. I'll share it with you. But I ran into Matt Gaetz at the last Trump rally I went to, and in person he looks like he's 18 years old in person, and he is he's 38. He looks like he's about 18. He's as skinny as Karen Carpenter, and he's got the biggest head I've ever seen in my life on a person. I mean, he looks very different in person, but he's my favorite. He's my favorite member of the government right now. It used to be Trump. But anyway. All right. So did you get your first shot of the vaccine, Richie?
No. I'm watching the countdown clock for an hour and a half the last 2 days. It's incredible.
Well, my mother and mother-in-law got it. And, because they're related to a well-known member of the media, I guess. I don't know.
Let me tell you something. There's 30, just to let you know, in my county alone, 58,000 people over 65. And there was only 3,000 openings. So you figure it out.
I know, exactly. All right, take care. All right, Richie the bus driver. See, there you go, guys. Listen, if you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We're going to take our break here for, the last break of the second hour. Come back with your calls. My name is Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be back right after this.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135.
Guys, thank you for all the super chats today. That means a lot to me. Believe me, they're very much appreciated.
And on the road, free mounting and balancing, and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, one and all. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see right to my left, I have Steve Kane's weighted blanket from MyPillow right here in the package. And see, Mike Lindell, MyPillow weighted blanket. And I got this for Steve. I'm going to meet up with him later today and give it to him. It's the 15-pound one. And, you know, these 30% off when you use the promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, which I use when I bought it. And let me tell you, I've slept with weighted blankets before. This is the best weighted blanket I've ever seen. The price is spectacular, plus 30% off, right, with the promo code Kane. It's very well made, very high quality. I was looking at it before I brought it in here for Steve. I haven't slept in his because I'll give this to Steve today, and then next week we'll get a report on how well he slept over the weekend. But what the weighted blankets do is it stops your body from twisting and turning at night. And every time your body twists and turns, even though you do not know it consciously, you wake yourself up. It's the equivalent of sleep apnea. And it stops your body from twisting and turning. You will get the best night's sleep you've ever had with this MyPillow weighted blanket. Go to MyPillow.com, use the promo code Kane, Kane, and get one for yourself. All right, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. This is Walter. I got a question. Why did Trump not get... Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, he's facing charges. He's facing espionage charges in the United States, Julian Assange. Well, there was a story reported that I don't know if it's true or not, but there was a story that Mitch McConnell told him that if he pardoned Julian Assange, that he would be convicted in the Senate. But I don't believe that. I support Donald Trump, but I also support Julian Assange. And Manning, who gave Julian Assange all the information, is free as a bird in New York. Okay, and with Julian Assange is not a computer hacker; he's a journalist. And my instinct would be to pardon him. He must be very upset. His girlfriend just got married, Pamela Anderson, and so he must be upset about that. Pam Anderson married her bodyguard, and Julian Assange and her were an item. But I imagine that there's something about Julian Assange we don't know that the president knew, and he didn't pardon him for something else that he's done that we don't know about.
I got a serious problem with that. He should have been pardoned. I will never understand unless I think I heard that Trump was threatened by the...
Yeah, I don't believe that's why. I think there's something else that he has done that we don't know about. You know, Julian Assange in Europe released a lot of private information about the old guard money guys in Europe. It made a lot of enemies over there. So maybe pardoning... President Trump did not pardon Julian Assange. I know he had a very good reason, and I always trust in Trump's decision-making. And he knows...
Excuse me, could it have been personal information on Trump?
No.
Is that... I hate to bring that up.
No, there's nothing... There's no dirt on Trump. There's no dirt on Trump. They spent years trying to find something on Trump. They couldn't find anything. There's no dirt on Trump.
Yeah, like the Epstein Island.
No, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like... I mean, think about it. How many men can be billionaires and international celebrities and not have like a harem in the Bahamas or something? I mean, most guys would. But and the left and the media thought they'd get something on Donald Trump because they think all rich people are lowlives like the Kennedys. And this International Playboy Act is just that. It's part of his brand and marketing, but it's just not the case. He's a...
They want to shut Assange up. They don't want him. He's got a lot of stuff. That's why I think he's a great guy. He's got a lot of garbage on him.
There's a movie that everyone should see about Julian Assange. It's called The Fifth Estate, and it stars Benedict Cumberbatch. And most people don't understand what Julian Assange is. He's an investigative reporter, is what he is. WikiLeaks is a news agency, basically, and and he's not a computer hacker or anything. And I was really hoping he would be pardoned. But you know what? I don't think the pardon would have done any good. He's made so many enemies in Europe. The Europeans wouldn't have given him over to us. When he's done with his time in the UK. If he was pardoned here, they wouldn't have handed him over. He pissed off too many of these Europeans.
That's true. That's true too. Yes.
So maybe it would have been. Maybe he didn't do it because it would have been a waste of time. They've made. Their deep state is deeper than ours because it's been around for 1,000 years. So
it's too. There's nothing anything could be done anyway.
Yeah. If he would have pardoned him, there's no way the Brits would have turned him over. My goodness, they burst into an embassy and pulled him out of an embassy. When does that happen? Out of a movie, except in movies.
Now, this is nuts, but if Biden went after Antifa, he came out and said, I'm going to round them, for some reason starts locking them up, going after Antifa, which will that's probably a dream on my part. It's probably now a fantasy, but if he did that, that would make him extremely popular.
Well, I don't know if it'd make him popular, but it would show that he's not just a political hack, that he has the ability to be a nonpartisan person and do something for the right thing, not for personal gain or profit. See, right now it looks like he does things only for personal profit, personal gain, or just out of spitefulness. It doesn't look like Biden does anything for a good reason.
Well, that's okay. A lot of stuff will start coming out on Antifa, and some of them are going to start singing, I believe, hopefully.
Well, the singing, I mean, look, they got the Viking from the Capitol. He's talking about he wants to testify against President Trump in the Senate kangaroo trial, with no judge. These people that burst in the Capitol are supposed to be the strongest of strongest Trump supporters, yet they're all turning against him, one by one, like dominoes, with very little effort. They don't sound like strong believers to me. Trump was able to motivate them to... the story from the left and the media is Trump was able to motivate these people to commit an insurrection against the federal government of the United States, but they're in jail for 3 minutes and they're throwing them under the bus. It doesn't compute.
Including Antifa people that know they were in there.
Mm-hmm. Hey, listen, thanks for the call.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
All right, yeah. I was listening to you before about something you made a comment about with the Bed Bath. I agree with what you're saying. I don't believe in boycotting or cancel culture. Now, one thing with Bed Bath and Beyond, even Kohl's, I'm not saying I don't like going there, but I know recently they've gone, even before them not selling the pillows, they've been going downhill. Closing stores. That doesn't mean I wish them to to have them be affected by the employees. You don't want to see people losing their jobs, but. They used to be. You said you go to both places once in a while, or?
Well, I like Kohl's. I like the Kohl's Bucks. You get stuff real cheap at Kohl's. I got sometimes you'll find me at that 70% off rack. I can always find a shirt or two there. Yeah. I usually go to Kohl's right before our cruises, and I go and buy my cruise clothes at Kohl's.
With Bed Bath and Beyond, I noticed one thing I don't like, and it has nothing to do with the pillow thing. Although I think that's crazy that they. And I'm not trying to complain about it, but they used to, I don't know if they ever told you this, but I don't want to say they encouraged you, but they used to tell you when you buy items, there are certain items that you can return at any time, even if it's a year or two. Now, I didn't look to do that unless sometimes
Well, the last Bed Bath & Beyond, I assume, is in major trouble. I don't go there, okay? I don't shop there, but there's one right next to the Best Buy I go to, and I got to go to Best Buy all the time to buy, microphone cords or microphones and stuff, And the thing about, I went to Bed Bath & Beyond right before the COVID. My daughter wanted some air purifier they had there, and I'd not been in there in a long time, and it was it was more disorganized than Ross. They were trying to sell you everything, coffee pods and everything. I mean, it looked desperate because they're putting everything in. They got everything that's not even really related to what the store's about, trying to do sales. So they're already hurting. Before
nowadays, the only thing we buy there is like the Keurig. We have the Keurig machine, the coffee cup, because some of the stuff they sell there.
Keurig's a racket. Those Keurig pods it's flavored water. It's coffee flavored water.
I mean, we still like you like to go to Starbucks. We like Starbucks. Sometimes we go to Dunkin' Donuts. I think
Starbucks is the best. The Dunkin' Donuts is coffee flavored water too. It's a weak.
Say with Bed Bath & Beyond, it's like certain things, like say, for example, you buy an electric razor or certain items. I like the fact that like Best Buy has a warranty. I'm a believer in certain items buying a warranty, so if something happens, at least you.
Well, listen, I'm never going to. So Mike Lindell, it was amazing when Bed Bath & Beyond, Kohl's, and Wayfair. I heard him. He was Mike Lindell. I think it was Monday. It was either Monday or Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday. He was on Rush Limbaugh's show. Mark Stein interviewed him, and he said when Wayfair, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Kohl's said they were no longer going to carry MyPillow products, he said, "God bless you, and if you want to come back, come back." You know what I mean? I didn't hear him talk about boycotting. He's a Christian.
I thought I heard, and maybe it was some misinformation, but I thought I heard even Costco was going to sell it, but then now they are going to sell it. So I don't know.
The only way you want to buy MyPillow products is through us with the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E. And I know a lot of you do. And I about 2 weeks ago, I got a call from Mike Lindell's office, and they were asking, they wanted to hear how we advertise, and I said, why? And they said, because you're selling, more of our listeners purchase MyPillow products than any other local radio shows in the country. Okay? And I want to thank all of you for that. And I told them, how we market and what we do, and they were they just wouldn't blow away. And they asked me to thank the listening audience for their support of Mike Lindell and MyPillow. And you guys are, believe me, they're very much appreciative of it. And when I say Mike Lindell's office called me, they did. It was on my caller ID. I said, oh my goodness, Mike Lindell's office is calling me. I was with my wife. She said, put it on speaker. I said, no, I'm not going to put it on speaker. She wanted to hear the call. But they're very thankful to you in this listening audience, as we are, Steve and I.
Another thing I was hearing you with that, I didn't want to get to it because you're talking about Richie the bus driver. How do you? Because I haven't called for a long time. You've known him. Like I thought you mentioned once on the radio that he used to be. I don't know if it was a joke. He used to be your bus driver when you were a kid.
No, he wasn't my bus driver. But before I had a car, I used to take the Broward County bus to like the mall and to the movies with my friends. And I was on Richie's bus many times, and I remember him because he's such a loudmouth, and he was the same way driving the bus as he is now. I remember one day I grew up in Fort Lauderdale, so I took a bus to the Galleria Mall, and I had the transfer buses, and I remember Richie. He doesn't remember me on the bus. He clipped my transfer ticket. I had to buy a transfer from Richie once to take, but I just remember it because he was always a loudmouth.
So you live down here, or does he live in? I thought
he lives. No. He used to live in Broward, and now he lives up in Sebastian area. Yeah, but he still listens.
But it's funny. It's like you have I don't know if it's a proper term, tough love. You get along, but sometimes everybody has. It's not that you're having a fight. It's like you might not agree with something, but you get along. And I think he's a good caller.
No, he's a very good caller, but sometimes he oversteps it. He's calling me, telling me that the topics are wrong and stuff, and wants me to change the topic. I mean, that's pretty ballsy on a weekend. I mean, what the hell? I mean, that's ballsy.
Crazy. I had a funny thought one day when you were mentioning about that other caller who's crazy. That what's his name?
Which one?
Al guy.
Al the John.
Yeah, you were joking, saying about he can't go on a cruise, and I was thinking that I was going to say that you would allow him to go only if you and Richie could throw him overboard.
Well, no, we wouldn't throw anyone overboard. Well, now listen, we have a group, the Steve Kane group, and Al the John, I know his real name. He is not permitted to be a part of our group. That's the way, you think I want to sit for, our next cruise is in January next year. You think I'm going to spend a week with that guy at dinner? No. There's no way in hell.
You would have fights on.
It's a private group, and we've got a very, I call it our cruise family, and it gets bigger every cruise. We have over 100 people booked on our next cruise a year from now. We're going to go to Aruba and a bunch of other places on the newly remodeled and refitted Celebrity Equinox, and it's a good group of MAGA people. And there was one lady on the last cruise. I was talking to her, and she's been cruising her whole life, and she said it's so great. I can actually talk about what I think. She says I go on cruises all the time. I'm single, and she's an older lady. She's a widow. And she says, I can never tell people what I think about everything because there's all these Democrats all over the place. And it's so nice to be with... On the last cruise we went on, there was a husband and wife The first cruise I went on in my life, I was 18 years old. It was a Star Trek cruise out of Miami on a ship called the Emerald Seas, which has been in the scrapyard for 30 years. And this woman on our cruise was on that same cruise, on my first cruise with me. We didn't know each other back then, but yeah. So we got a good group of people. And Richie, you know, on our one cruise, I set up a thing for him to do a blackjack lesson. And he had I got a conference room with him, and it was a conference room. The whole one wall was the ocean, big window, and Richie did a whole class on how to play and win at blackjack. And it was a packed standing room only house. So Richie and I get along very well.
Like a good call, and I don't have a problem with that.
Well, like Michael Savage, what makes him an interesting caller is his personality. He's a personality. You know.
Pretty good. Yeah, I assumed I'm just saying that because of the accent, because my parents are from New York, and I was actually.
Oh, I'm sure he's originally from New York. Yeah, of course. Yeah, he's originally from New York. Yeah.
Both. One's from Brooklyn, one's from the Bronx, and sometimes people will say they think I'm from New York, and even though I don't think I have an accent.
Yeah, but it's changed up there. The New York attitude is now AOC, snowflake.
I wouldn't even want to visit there. You were mentioning about Ohio and stuff like that too. Like I've been to Ohio before, like not Columbus, but Cleveland and Canton years ago. I went to that Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in the football.
Every joke you've ever heard about Cleveland is deserved. It's a dump.
It looked like New York when I went there so many years ago.
I went to Cleveland. Okay, this I'll tell you a quick thing. Then I'll break because I'm late for the break. I used to go to Star Trek convention. One of my oldest and best friends used to put on Star Trek conventions around the country, and I would go and MC some of the conventions sometimes. And I would go to the conventions, and they would fly me to these conventions all over the country to work at them as an MC and stuff. And we went to Cleveland. And it was at a hotel in Cleveland, a big Star Trek convention with William Shatner and everything. And there was a bar in the hotel. And we went to the bar, and it was a singles bar for Cleveland. And this was like in the early 2000s. And there were guys in there, I'm not kidding you, wearing leisure suits, okay, from the 70s. And then we left. We thought it was funny. We came back a year later. And we went a year later. It was the same people in the same leisure suits in the same bar. I mean, it's pretty pathetic. Now, listen, we're going to take a break, but this show's going downhill because we're getting along too well, and this isn't good. No, there's no time. I'm 4 minutes late. There's no time. Next time. All right, listen. It's 8:04. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Let me say. Today, we have had some of the best calls we've had in many years on this program. I'm not kidding. We've had some nasty callers. We've had some SOBs. We've had some dysfunctional mental cases. And we've also had some very pleasant conversations, too. So let's keep it going. We'll take our break, late for the top. And Steve Kane will be joining us when we get back.
Got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Homeowners, would you like to save money each and every month? Of course you would. We all want to save more money. But how? By calling I Will Advisors, that's how, at 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080. And have their expert team review your homeowner's policy. I Will Advisors will review your policy at no charge. Most homeowners never review their policy, but it should be reviewed every year. You commercial property owners, same goes for your property insurance policy. So what are you waiting for? Call I Will Advisors and start saving money. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Elizabeth, $10 super sticker. Thank you very much.
I'm Dr. Janae.
I'm Alan Knight.
You love listening to Steve Kane and Brian Craig for your daily dose of political pandemonium. Now you need a cure for the resulting anxiety and depression. Join us for the perfect prescription to help you cope with the world.
Saturday mornings at 11 and Sunday nights at 11.
If you want answers about love, anger, pain, and relationships, join us for your chance to call in and share your stories, tears, or laughs. Take the opportunity to tell me what's on your mind.
Next January, a year from this January.
Listeners love Champagne Automotive Repair in Boca.
I went over to a Champagne.
Yeah, you can call our travel agent. His number is 561-244-5779. 561-244-5779. That's our travel agent. Yeah, search for on iHeartRadio, WWNN, 2 W's, 2 N's. Well, thank you, Michael. The Dunkin' Donuts coffee tastes good, but it's coffee-flavored water. It tastes good, though, you know. It's to coffee what Yoo-hoo is to chocolate milk. You know? All right, we're coming back. Okay, I got Steve there. Yes, I'm drinking Starbucks. I drink Starbucks not for the taste, but I get the Venti, which is large. This is the large size. Venti is the size. Americano, that has 4 shots of espresso in it. That's why I get it. It tastes terrible. All right, third hour beginning. Steve joining us. You've missed some of the nastiest callers in the history of this program today, Steve.
I was listening to every bloody...
Oh, my gosh. Mumbles earlier? Oh, my goodness.
I tell you, every caller is starting to sound like Richie to me.
What does that mean? Arrogant, full of themselves?
I don't know. Maybe what it means, plain and simply, is that it sounds like our whole audience has moved to New York.
Oh, no. Well, we're in Florida, you know, New York South here. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness, it's a tough time. Let's take another call or two before we, unless you got something you want to do. Oh, I got to tell you, Steve, right behind me, you guys on YouTube can see this. I have your MyPillow weighted blanket behind me. It's in the package, all ready to deliver to you today. And this, let me tell you, you're going to be so impressed with this blanket, Steve. This is not your normal weighted blanket. This blanket is so well made. I can't believe how cheap it is. 30% off when you use the promo code Kane, K-A-N-E at checkout. So what I'm hoping is this for you or is it a gift?
It started out for me, and then somehow, as word spread throughout the family of what was going on, at this point, I think not only is it for me, but I think I've got to order a couple more.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen. Here's the thing, though. This weekend, you use it. Don't let anybody else use it this weekend. So next week, you can report to us how well you slept all weekend. Okay? Yeah. Okay, let's go to our phones. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, conservative.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Okay.
Richie, $20 super chat. Thank you. Morning from New Zealand. Love your show. Well, thank you.
I called a couple of days ago and said, "Oh, everybody can go get a job that got fired making windmills."
Elizabeth, $10
then
super
John
sticker.
Kerry
Thank you.
goes and says, "Oh, everybody can make solar cells." You know, all these people that have to go get these new jobs, they say it takes between a year to 2 years before you train.
See, this is the thing. Okay, we had this conversation with Liberal Al the other day, but you know, I heard John Kerry is listening to him speak about jobs is like when I heard BTK's confession. You know, serial killers are sadistic. They have no empathy for others. And you know, and when Liberal Al called in regurgitating what John Kerry said, well, no, but there's these other jobs. But they're not jobs for those guys you just put out of work. And people are meaningless to them. All people are to John Kerry are numbers on a report or numbers on a paper. He doesn't understand that 100,000 head of households lost their $80,000 to $90,000 a year jobs. They're all not married to, they're not all gigolos like John Kerry, married to billionairesses with ketchup money, you know?
And if you can get a job, it takes a year to 2 years of training.
And these guys are like 50 years old. Were they going to go back to school and learn how to make solar panels? And then they're going to relocate their whole family? How are they going to make their mortgage and car payments till then?
Exactly. You know, and then, the thing about it, he says windmill.
You know, there's only really one major company making windmills, and that's GE, and they don't need anybody. And if they do, they need maybe one.
Someone sent me a message on Twitter yesterday that they have a relative that works in one of those solar panel factories out west. Okay, I can't remember. It was Arizona, New Mexico, California, out west at a solar panel factory making solar panels. The guys on the pipeline are making about $40 an hour. How much do you think they told me their relative makes making solar panels an hour?
Probably about 10, 11, maybe.
$15 an hour. $15 an hour. That's power. You know. Meanwhile, this guy that's making $80,000 that John Kerry put out of work, you know, he's lost his house. His cars have been repossessed, and you know, but he jerks.
This whole thing about between solar cells and windmills, but you never hear them. This is such a con job. You never hear them talking about why are we using hydrogen. We can use hydrogen. I talked to the head of the hydrogen.
Yeah, why don't we use dilithium crystals, Doug? Oh my gosh. We can use hydrogen. Oh my gosh. No, he's already gone, Steve. He's already gone. Yeah. I heard. Oh my goodness.
Move 'em up, rawhide.
Yeah, the Blues Brothers used to sing that song. Yeah, round them up, head them out, keep them rolling, rawhide. Yeah. Oh my gosh, are you drinking? Are you drinking? You sound like Al now. Oh my goodness. So the Republican National Committee said yesterday that if President Trump runs for re-election in 2024, they're not going to support him. Can you believe that crap?
It's beyond discouraging. And I will say this, I was listening to Rush yesterday, and he was giving his overview, which traditionally is known for its kind of sunny and optimistic view, certainly of the country and of what's going on. He always puts the best face on it, and Rush sounded down.
Well, listen. Now I listened to a little bit of Rush today, and he had. I'm not going to go through it now. I went through it a little bit at the top at 6. I won't do it now because But he took, which is what was a topic that I could not understand, that I thought was as terminally boring as the Joyce Kaufman program. And you're stepping on my jokes. You're telling you step on me. He took a topic that I thought was as terminally boring as the Joyce Kaufman radio show, and made it fascinating, compelling radio. He was talking about the game, the Joyce Kaufman dig. You walked over that. It was a brilliant take. But and Rush Limbaugh makes about $12 million a month for good reason, and that's an example as to why. But so far as being depressed, I mean, Steve, the guy's going through chemotherapy. He's doesn't know when his last day will be, and he's got millions of people on the left wishing him ill for the chemo not to work. I mean, he's got a lot on his mind, so I wouldn't take his mood, I mean, he's a miracle.
What he is able to do is astounding.
Oh my gosh.
I look to Rush on a personal basis. I mean, he certainly always cheers me up, and no matter how difficult things become, he's always got he's a man of faith, and he's always got a sunny outlook about what's going to go down, and yet I think he is, as of yesterday, I mean, hopefully he'll feel better today, but yesterday was not a good day for him.
Well, I've been listening to Rush more lately than I have in years. And I am amazed. I would not know he was sick if I didn't know it. He's that good. He deserves another medal. Trump should give him the Mar-a-Lago trophy or something. I mean, it's amazing. He lives right down the street from Mar-a-Lago. I mean, it's amazing with what he's going. Most of us, if we were going through that'd be it. We'd be curled up at home. Yeah, Governor Mingala up there in New York, Cuomo, this story of the nursing home deaths. Do you know Janice Dean brought this out months ago. part of the problem with Cuomo up in New York is when people were getting released from the hospital, COVID people, he would send them to the nursing homes and then lock them in. Janice Dean said, and she's a voice of credibility on this, because she lost her in-laws, and she's been the leading advocate to expose what he's done up there. Do you know when they were sending people back to the nursing homes that Governor Cuomo, according to Janice Dean, was not permitting COVID testing to take place at the nursing homes so they knew who had it and who didn't? Can you freaking believe that? And these people that passed away in New York in the nursing homes because of Cuomo's incompetence and error. He had time to write a book. He had time to do 2-hour press conferences every day. And he's responsible for this happen. It happened at his direction. When people are in the hospital or in a nursing home with COVID, they're not allowed to visit their loved ones. There's a friend of a family member of mine who's in the hospital right now who's not expected to make it with the COVID, and older person. And they're not allowed to see their kids or their grandkids. They keep you in total isolation. So these people in New York died unnecessarily, most of them, and they died alone. They can't even see their spouse. I mean, it's heartless. And the media, I know they're mentioning, well, the report downplayed the number of actual deaths. They're letting this jerk off the hook.
As I said, what you're talking about is not the worst part of the story. And I'll tell you what is the worst part of the story and see if you agree with me. The worst part of the story is that when it comes time for Cuomo to start his presidential primary run, all these jerks from New York will run out and vote Democrat anyway. They won't even remember it. And
you don't think this is going to stop him from being able to be the nominee? Come on.
Oh, you're talking about New York, for crying out.
He's got to win more than New York.
Tell you, if the people of New York have not wised up about Andrew Cuomo, I don't look for any great.
Now let me ask you. I don't know. You know New York. You know New York. Here in Florida, we have a lot of New Yorkers in Florida. It's our biggest problem are the New Yorkers because they vote Democrat. We'd never have any problem with Democrats in Florida if it wasn't for the New Yorkers here. But let me ask you if I'm wrong about this or not. Most of the people that are seniors that come to Florida from New York are people with means. Is there an economic thing with this? I mean, I know not all the rich people retire to Florida, but a lot of them do. These nursing home deaths, are a lot of them poor seniors that aren't rich enough to relocate to Florida? And is the economic reason why maybe he's so uncaring and he gets a pass?
I wouldn't even hazard a guess. I don't think that. I think, look, he's got a certain amount of charm. You can't deny that. And he's done this for a long time, and he's got...
Doing what?
Skill.
Yeah.
Getting elected to...
No, he's a top-tier politician. Yeah, he's top-tier. He's charming is what you mean. Yeah.
In a word that captures it.
Like Bill Clinton and Obama and Donald Trump. You have to be charming to be at that level. You have to be, but that doesn't mean he's not a villain. I mean, he's a terrible person. I mean, this nursing home thing is terrible. Could you imagine if this was Governor DeSantis? He'd be out of office already. He'd be removed from office. Listen, we're going to take a break, our first break of the last hour, 20 minutes after 8. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll go to the phones right after this break. Do not touch that dial.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget.
Steve Kane Show.
Tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Steve Kane Show.
Major brands like Goodyear and Firestone.
Oh, hey Barry, hold on.
It absolutely can't be beat. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van. At the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only
Steve's weighted blanket.
It's a $70 savings per
It's nice. It's
tire.
cloth.
Prices are
He's going to love it.
and on the road, free mounting and balancing, and no no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive, and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
All right, Stephen, on the line, we have attorney Barry Siegel, who, of course, is the man behind your revocable living trust. Attorney Barry Siegel, good morning.
Hello, good morning. How are you?
Hey, Barry.
Good morning. How are you doing, Barry?
Fantastic. Well, here we are. We're coming to the end of January already. It's very quick, and at the beginning of the year, we all have our New Year's resolutions, and we're all we came up with a list, many of us, and on that list, many of us put estate planning on there to either get your estate plan done or to update your estate plan.
Oh, yeah.
And
we have alligators in Florida, absolutely.
Is, have you fulfilled your resolution, if you had one, on estate planning? If you have, fantastic. If you haven't, it's time to stop procrastinating. You put it on your list for a reason. So it's time to get your estate plan reviewed and make sure you have an estate plan that works. Because the point is, even if you never went and made an estate plan yourself, the state of Florida, if you're a Floridian, the state of Florida has an estate plan for you. It's called the Rules of Intestacy. It's the default.
Mike, $20 super chat. Thank you very much. I don't support Starbucks because of what they did to the military back in 2011. What did they do? What did they do?
As far as having to deal with probate and the cost and the aggravation involved. And
well, when I come to work in the morning, it's hard to get espresso. If I had another place to get espresso, I would, believe me. That's right, and give attorney Barry Siegel a call. It's a completely free consultation for listeners of the Steve Kane Show. His website, SiegelLawGroup.com, and his number, 855-FLA-3782. 855-FLA-3782. Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk next week. All right, take care, take care. Oh, man, I tell you, I just was reading this story. The New York Times, this is in the Daily Mail. New York Times does not fire star COVID reporter who used the N-word. He's white, by the way. And he used the N-word while leading a school trip, but the New York Times will not fire him because it was not malicious when he used the N-word. Just 1 week after an editor was booted for a pro-Biden tweet. I tell you, we're in new territory now because I thought that the N-word was forbidden unless you're African-American, and this guy is whiter than we are, Steve, and he used it. They get liberal double standard. They get, just like Cuomo. Liberals have they're like James Bond. They have a license to kill, a license to do whatever they want.
Well, it's a strange time in our history. There's no getting around it.
Yeah.
I always talk at times like this when you try to understand things and nothing seems to make sense. That's when faith comes in, and I know I'm right at the tipping point of my faith, and I think the the thing that was bringing me closer to the end yesterday was when I found out about how that meeting with Trump went. I had expected great things from that, but as usual, the problem in the Republican Party is the Republican Party. And
well, we really don't know what happened in that meeting with McCarthy and the president yesterday, President Trump.
From what you described, it didn't seem good.
Well, I've been thinking about it. The RNC, they're not going to endorse him if he runs in 2024. Can you imagine? Bunch of lowlives over there. But I was thinking now, what was the meeting about? And I'm sure it was about several things. And there's a third thing I didn't mention earlier that I think might have been on the ticket. One, I think, had to do with the impeachment trial, because they are going to have that trial. So there's probably some strategizing with that. They have a lot of concern about him primarying Republicans out of office in the midterm elections in 2 years, because he's been suggesting he'll do that. So there was probably that.
That's the only hope we really have.
Yeah.
If we can't take over the Republican Party, I don't have that much faith in our ability to, win in the next president.
Well, I think there was a third thing that was probably discussed. There were probably many things, but there was another thing too. Because McCarthy flew down here. He didn't fly down in the middle of the week just to take a picture with Donald. I'm sure he's got plenty of pictures with Donald Trump. That's not why he came down. This thing with Matt Gaetz yesterday was amazing. Matt Gaetz is calling for Kevin McCarthy to remove Liz Cheney from leadership because she voted for the impeachment of Donald Trump. And I think McCarthy is a good guy. I haven't seen him do anything that makes me think otherwise yet. And maybe they are strategizing to get rid of Liz Cheney from this leadership position. She's part of the establishment, with her father and everything. So maybe they're strategizing to get her. They're not going to get her out of office. They won't be able to primary Liz Cheney out. She's from Wyoming, and they own Wyoming, the Cheneys. But there's.
You seem to have read.
Well, Matt Gaetz went on Matt Gaetz gave a very passionate speech yesterday, calling on Kevin McCarthy to remove Liz Cheney from a leadership position. And I'm telling you, there's a battle inside the Republican Party right now. You've got the MAGA people, and you've got the Cheney people, which are the establishment, the George Bush Cheney establishment. And the establishment are elevating Liz Cheney to be the Republican Party leader, whether run for president or Speaker of the House. And I think that President Trump and McCarthy are working with Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is very close to Donald Trump, to get her out of this leadership position. That could very much be, if they can get her out of the leadership position and downgrade her a little bit, that'll go a long way to getting the Republican establishment out of power. The ones that, I bet you Liz Cheney voted for Joe Biden. I wouldn't be shocked at all. I would assume. I don't think she voted for Donald Trump.
No.
There's no way. So, we've got Republicans in Congress that don't support the Republican nominee. They got to go. I wish there was a mechanism where you could excommunicate someone from the party. You know what I mean? Like you're not a Republican anymore. I wish there was that mechanism. They could take it away from her. All right, let's take some calls. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, John Okeechobee.
Hey, John.
Hello.
Yes.
I think the point of what Rush was trying to say yesterday ties in to what you're talking about right now. There's a ruling class, a permanent political class. The problem is the RNC thinks they're leading us, poor lambs, to slaughter. And guess what? They're going to turn around. There's no army behind them. The general.
The chairman of the Joint Chiefs hates Trump. I've forgotten his name. The nasty-looking guy. He hates Trump. The generals, listen, to get promoted in the general ranks goes through congressional committees. They're all politicians, every one of them. So to think that they're not establishment people, they're establishment people. What's that noise? You okay, John? I'm hearing some noises. You're drinking. What are you drinking? Oh, okay. All right, take care. Do you ever see Dick Morris on Newsmax? He's on Newsmax TV and he's always drinking out of a cup on Newsmax TV. You ever see him do that?
Oh, yeah.
I saw him on Greg Kelly once, and he's in the middle of talking, and he just stops, and he picks up like a glass of tea or something. I don't know what it is, and Greg Kelly goes, "Oh, please, go ahead." It's very strange. All right, good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning.
Yes, you're on the air.
Yes, I got a simple question here. Why are we sitting here dickering around and trying to figure out and continue this just seemingly crazy fealty to the orange rat?
Yeah.
Voted the other way.
The biggest problem the Republican Party has... the biggest problem we have... Well, you asked a question. Do you want an answer?
He doesn't, obviously.
Now you're asking other... Do you want an answer to your questions?
He's not listening.
You know this guy's not married. No woman would put up with this.
You got to give people something to actually think they're people to.
Yeah. Really? You really thanking him for his call? It's time for a break anyway.
I'm thanking the Lord that it's gone.
It's break time. It's break time. So listen. Yeah.
Right after this.
You covered AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
Hi, Brian Craig here. You've heard Dr. Mitch Matez and Steve Kane's wife
Steve Kane Show.
talk about their COVID testing at any lab
Yeah,
test
hold
now
on.
of
Hey.
Boca and any lab test now of
Oh, great. Thank you very much.
tested too. So is Steve Kane and his son Tyler. Today on the radio, Rabbi David.
Well, sometimes even one day the numbers can be off by hundreds of dollars. Even the next day, you know, so.
And that's the thing is that with everything that's going on, everything's going up and down.
Are you a native Floridian?
No.
No, really? Because I was with a cowboy hat. Where are you from?
Oh no, I got a scar on my head. From
Oh.
shaving my head, so
Oh no, really?
First thing in the morning, I went.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, enjoy your Monday.
Yeah. I just got a text message for someone. No, that was one of the operations manager for the radio stations, and he's wearing a cowboy hat and cowboy clothes. That's why I was asking, because he's dressed kind of like a redneck.
You know what I mean? Instead of dealing with all the wonder. And they give you a piece of paper. So yesterday, I actually walked around.
William, $20 super chat. Thank you, Fredo, Andrew Cuomo, and Gavin Newsom. We're in a hot tub together. Fredo sees a condom floating, turns around and says, "All right, who farted?" Oh my God. I shouldn't have read that one. I should have read that silently to myself.
First we had a doctor recommendation from Dr. Mitch Matez. Now we have a rabbi. Rabbi recommended any lab test now of Boca, any lab test now of Coral Springs for your COVID testing. Yeah, that's great. Rabbi recommended.
Any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. Rabbi recommended by Rabbi David for COVID testing. Rapid coronavirus testing, just $69. But you have to mention you heard them on the radio. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Their number 954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Boca is in the Sandalfoot Plaza where the Western Beef is. Their number 561-237-5009. Make sure you mention you heard them on the radio.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
I'm not. I'm not. But he was dressed as a cowboy, so I was just wondering.
Just search for www.
All right. Oh, and by the way, any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs for the COVID testing, they're open on Saturdays. And, you know, someone in my family has the COVID, Steve, immediate family. And I get calls from people that came in contact with him, and they... Oh, no. The person in my family is doing very well. A friend of the family is not expected to make it. Different people. But some people in the family came in contact with the family member that has it, and I get these calls, and they all ask me the same thing. Can you get me into any lab test now of Boca, sometimes Coral Springs, and get that testing? I said, just show up. You can just go over there. No appointment necessary. Go in and tell them what the situation is, and they'll test you. You don't have to have me call ahead. Well, you want to make sure you mention you heard about them on the radio, because you get a big discount for Steve Kane listeners, and you get the results in 15 minutes or less. And by the way, that's the positive or negative result. You get it on the spot. Which is, it's nice to get that anxiety, because a lot of anxiety sits in because you came in contact with someone. They also give you that antibody test. They can tell you if you've been exposed as well. And if you're traveling, different tests are needed for different things. If you're traveling internationally, you need a certain test. If you're flying here, you need a certain test. If you work in this profession, you need a certain COVID test. They got all the tests. So tell them why you need to be tested, and they'll tell you. Any lab test now of Boca and Coral Springs. Lots of any lab test nows around. Those are the only 2 locations advertising on the Steve Kane Radio Show. Make sure you tell him you heard about it on the radio. All right, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
But, hey, good morning. What's up, guys? Hello?
Yeah, not much. We're just hanging out.
All right. Hey, Steve, I want to ask you 4 different questions, man. I'm going to hang up and lift off the air.
Wait, no. He said 4 questions.
Take the best question you got, ask it, and then we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
Okay, then. What was it like to work for 3 years for Dick Cavett? Okay, that's it. Thank you, sir.
Oh, he hung up. Yeah.
Probably the most boring person I ever worked for.
Yeah, and he's a no talent. I told you they have his old shows on Hulu, and I've watched some of them. You know, some of the celebrity interviews are interesting, except when he's talking. He is so unfunny, so unprofessional. I don't know how that guy got on TV. Did someone say he was a comedian? Get out of town.
Dick Cavett.
Was he a comedian?
Comedian.
Oh my goodness.
About him, and I didn't find his interviews all that interesting, even though I had to do the research for him.
He's the only person that could have John Lennon and Yoko Ono at the height of their fame in studio, and it would be uninteresting. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Hey, when's the last time you saw Dick Cavett?
A couple weeks ago, I watched him I watched him on Hulu. It was one of the old shows from the 70s when he had on David Bowie. I watched it because I'm a big David Bowie fan. So I watched the David Bowie interview, and it was awful. Oh, my goodness. No. But, you know, I'll tell you those. Well, it's a way to destroy a show. You know, this thing, though, with the Republicans saying that they're not going to... What McDaniel said, the girl that Trump put in charge of the RNC, said that they'll remain neutral in the if President Trump runs for re-election. That is... He's the former president of the United States. He is the leader of the Republican Party, and if he runs, there should not only be 0 primary opponents. She should be out of the RNC. Maybe, Steve, President Trump was meeting with McCarthy about getting rid of her because of that statement yesterday. That's outrageous. Do you really think Trump's going to run in 2024 or just back someone?
You got to understand there are a lot of water is going to go under the bridge between now and the primaries in the next election, and who knows what'll happen.
Yeah.
It's hard to predict anything with certainty.
Yeah. But
I'd like to think Trump's going to be the nominee, but you can't always tell.
Well, I'll tell you, there's no doubt about it, though, that Biden won't run for re-election. He's not capable. There's no way. Be Kamala. He'll have to
Is worse than he was during some of the campaigning, which I didn't think he was going to make it all the way to the convention.
Well, there's something I'm looking for that I've not seen yet. Now, NBC News has a tradition. They did not do it with Trump because they hate Trump, okay? But when there's a new president, NBC News does a whole special on the new president and a day in the life of the new president in the West Wing. And we're not going to see that with Biden. There is no way Biden is running anything. You think he comes down to the Oval Office and gets briefed every day and gives orders? It looks like they just trot him out to sign these executive orders, and then he goes back to bed. But you know what? Maybe that's a good thing. You know, would you rather have, Joe Biden as the president in his current state of mind or back in his heyday? I'd rather have him now. He was a nasty person. Nasty, vindictive person, and now he's really kind of, in a way, I wouldn't say harmless, but if one of the 100,000 he put out of work, he's not completely harmless, but he can't advocate for anything. He could just come out and do what they kind of tell him to do.
To Joe Biden for political creativity, I think he basically has a script,
And that's what he goes with.
I would say, yeah.
More and more pronounced, by the way.
His difficulty in doing it, or?
Well, his difficulty in covering it, his difficulty in creating the illusion that he's really speaking spontaneously about anything is really gone.
Yeah. Did you still haven't seen the video when he couldn't put the pen back in his pocket the other day? Ooh. Oh. It is sad. I mean, I know a lot of people don't have sympathy. I have sympathy, and my original thought was Jill Biden would be running the show, but I don't even think I don't know who's running the country right now. It's not him, and there's just, when I saw him this week signing the orders, he has declined in the last month. I mean, it's one thing, there's good days and bad days when you're in his mind, but I haven't seen a good day in a long time. And what if there's a crisis? What if there was a major, we're getting out of the COVID era. President Trump set him up very fine. Everything's going according to, the Trump plan with the COVID relief and everything, with the vaccines and everything. But if there was a major, this country is more vulnerable now than it ever has been, because we have such a checked out president, which we have never had before. They used to say that, they did say that Reagan's Alzheimer's set in his last year or so in office. But I've seen a lot of, online lately, I saw a lot of interviews with Ronald Reagan when he was about to leave office. He did some interviews, and he was sharp as a tack. He wasn't, he didn't have, they just said that because they didn't like Ronald Reagan, because he was a Republican. I saw some interviews with him talking on his last month in office, and he was as sharp as the day he went into office, mentally, cognitively. This guy, I saw him walking away mumbling to himself the other day after he signed some orders. And what if there was a 9/11-like event that happened right now? Would he be able to make a decision?
I don't think they'd rush Joe to the front of the line.
Well, who would be making the calls on what to do?
Whose name we don't even know would be my guess.
Oh my goodness. Oh, that's America. There you go. All right, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Brian, it's Steve. Just want to get on the air and just want to talk when you have a chance here.
Well, you're on the air, so talk.
Hey, oh, well, that was really quick. Hey, Brian and Steve, happy Friday. Well, listen, this is Steve from Coral Springs. Listen, what's this thing with this next Trump rally they're going to have with Matt Gaetz in Wyoming? I'm kind of curious. Liz Cheney's hometown.
Well, he is. Gaetz is on a mission to have her removed from the leadership position of the Republican Party. I don't think it's going to be successful, though, because her father in that Bush wing, they're back in power now, basically.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber, Bush and
I'm so ashamed that look at how hard we fought for Bush and Cheney. They went up against, that re-election was very nasty, and all of us stood so strongly behind the both of them, and both of them voted for Biden.
Ridiculous, and talking about I call him Beijing Biden. I'm sorry, I can't help it. That's his name.
I mean, think about this. Okay, Liz Cheney had a falling out with her own sister because her sister's gay, right? And Dick Cheney, they used to question him about it. Who would have ever thought that Dick Cheney's daughter would vote to impeach the Republican president of the United States? I mean, I would like to hear what the gay sister has to say about that. After she didn't accept her own sister because of her sexuality for votes. She put voters ahead of her own sister. She knew her sister was gay her whole life. Come on, you've seen her. Come on. We had her on the show. She's a very nice girl, the gay daughter. But we had her on the show. She's very pleasant, very.
Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. Didn't you have? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to look for your old podcast. Didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did talk to Steve Hilton, yes. No. Beware of Steve Hilton. His wife is a Facebook executive.
Do you say that when we say beware Steve Hilton? Do you say that in a?
I don't trust him. He lives out there. He lives out there in that Facebook bubble in that Palo Alto area. His wife's a top executive at Facebook.
You educated me something new. One last thing, I'll let you go. I'm a little confused. I'm like you. I heard a couple days ago. I'm sorry, I was working and I was off today. Now you're with Stitchfield. You're starting to get into them. But I'm a little confused. Real quickly with I'm a big Greg Kelly fan. But what's up with Fox? They had this primetime show and they're like rotating people.
They're auditioning who's going to fill it, and I'll tell you, do not fill it with Bartiromo. I never really listened to her too much. I've seen her do some interviews. I'm Maria Bartiromo! We'll be right back. I mean, she yells. She screeches and she yells. And she was on the 5. Oh, my ex-girlfriend, right? Yeah, she was on the 5 the other day. And one of the guys said that she was like a waitress at some restaurant. And she said, I wasn't the waitress! I was the hat check girl! And I mean, she's a little bit of Bartiromo goes a long way.
Who do you want as a permanent? Do you think Kilmeade?
I'm kind of, I know it doesn't sound that way, but I don't watch Fox too much anymore. Maybe an hour a week.
I watch Hannity, but I'm getting kind of tired of Hannity. Actually, his last book was really not the best because he tells you on TV already, and then you read the book, it's the same thing. But I read the last great book I read real quickly. Ted Cruz, One Vote Away. I highly recommend it.
Okay, we'll check it out. Listen, we're going to take our break, and when we come back, it'll be time for the Gold Report. Don't go anywhere.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all.
Hey there. We're going to be off on Monday, but back on Tuesday. I got a personal day I got to take off, but we'll be back live on Tuesday. All right, hold on.
I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they save me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today.
I like Bartiromo, but I've only seen her interview people, which the interviews are pretty good. But when she's talking by herself, she just yells too much. I find her annoying.
Radio. Just search for WWN.
Now it is that time that we all wait for, at least I wait for it, I'll tell you. Most exciting moment of the show as far as I'm concerned, and we're talking, of course, about the Gold Report, brought to you by William Youngerman, William Youngerman Inc. William, one of the world's leading experts when it comes to the precious metals, and boy, are we fortunate here on the Steve Kane Show to get his Gold Report each and every morning, letting you know how things wound up yesterday and how they're opening today. William, how does it look?
Looking very exciting, Steve. Probably one of the most interesting news stories and events to take place in Wall Street and in the precious metals is undertaken right now that you'd have to be blind not to see it all over the news media. Yesterday, when Robinhood suspended trading in GameStop and massive amounts of money
Steve Kane Show.
were won and lost. And this platform that has organized against short selling has taken on now the precious metals sector and has seen.
William Youngerman, are you with us? His cell just went dead. I'm going to have to... There we are. Okay, wait, your cell cut out with us when you were just at the high point. You were talking about short selling and it was going to hit the metals.
Okay, the trade has been shorting the precious metals for years, and many people have said that these markets have been manipulated to keep them under pressure and through short selling. And these masses have now turned their attention towards the SLV, the silver ETF traded fund, the GLD, and that has pushed silver way high yesterday and higher today, and could be talking about pushing the precious metals to levels we have never seen before. And that's a very interesting scenario. Yesterday we saw gold climb all the way up to $1,865 before closing out the day, just down at 90 cents on profit taking, 1843.70 on gold. But silver, the big winner in this whole thing right now, was up to $27.04 at one point yesterday, and closed at $26.52 the ounce. That was up $1.24. That's a huge move for silver, $1.24 in a day. Platinum was up $8 at $1,066. Palladium was up $24, closing yesterday at $22.62. The battle continues this morning as gold is up $29.20 right now at $1,873. Silver up another $1, has been even higher at $27.52 the ounce. Platinum up $37 at $1,103.
Holy cow.
And palladium up $10 at $22.72. So these are very exciting times, and if they create the huge short squeeze that they did in GameStop and other things that they've done this with, still a lot of interest in silver over the last month or so, but a lot of people now touting that to get behind this movement in buying silver and the precious metals. And this may be just the catalyst we needed to bring us out of this narrow trading range that the big funds have managed to kind of manipulate for quite a while, keeping us in trading ranges that they could profit by. But now, if we push this out, this short squeeze could take place in silver and the precious metals, which could propel much higher. And maybe we'll really find out how rare these commodities are when you take them and you try to spread them out throughout the masses of people who are looking for something to own today, and maybe something far more tangible than a stock that has maybe little or no value. And so here we go. Let's see what happens. But I'm expecting a continued movement in these precious metals.
It's all just very exciting, and I don't want to say I told you so, but William told you so. It's all coming to fruition here. Stop by William Youngerman today, located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca Raton, in the lobby across from the Bank of America. The phone number toll-free, 1-800-327-5010. That's 1-800-327-5010.
Yes.
And William, you have a great weekend. We look forward to your hours, and when's a good time to get a hold of you?
Certainly, our hours are Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., and we have all the precious metals in stock for immediate delivery, which is one of the few places in Florida that you can actually walk in and walk out with the precious metals.
A pleasure, William, and I didn't make it yesterday, but I will be there today. And look forward to seeing you, all right?
All right. Now listen, we're going to take a couple more calls. We only have seconds left, so you guys on hold, get to your points quick, or you won't have time, okay? So go ahead. You're on the radio. Go ahead.
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
Okay, so I heard you guys talking about Fox News, and Brian Kilmeade. I listen to him on talk radio in the morning, and I am not a big fan of his.
Oh, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons is because, he talks about, he talks to Chris Wallace, which, I guess that's part of the show, but, he talks that the election was not rigged.
Well, I'll tell you the thing about Kilmeade that really shocked me about Kilmeade. And the thing about Kilmeade, I thought when they had all that sex harassment stuff over there, I couldn't believe they didn't get him hooked up with any of it, because he's such a jerk, and I've seen him really talk down to some of the female personalities over there. But He never rubbed any of them in that kind of way. Real quick, you're on the air, caller. Go ahead. Last caller of the day before Richard Pearl. Good morning.
Morning.
Yes, you're on the air.
Joined you, Brian, and Steve. Best thing I've done. I'm learning every day. I did not know that Cooper Anderson was
Anderson Cooper.
a Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
And I love Vanderbilt clothing, and I won't stop, and I won't take people out of jobs at Kohl's.
Okay, all right. Take care, take care. Now it's time to check in with Richard Pearl, the host of Richard Pearl on Politics. And I got to tell you, Richard Pearl, we live stream on YouTube every day, and every day since you've started this new show, following us at 9, people in our YouTube live chat room, they're telling me how much they love you and your new show at 9 o'clock.
Thank you to them. I mean, I get the response on phone calls. People come into the store. We're saying things that others aren't saying, and we're coming from a lot of different perspectives because my background is varied. So, it's been a joy doing it. It's exhausting at some levels, but it's something that's necessary. And there's a yearning for a voice out there, and thankfully you guys are there, and we're here, and we're going to keep doing this.
That's right. That's right.
Exciting news to share with you, actually, very quickly. You know, J&J just came out with the vaccine information. It's breaking news for today. It's 72% overall effective for maximum efficiency. But I don't know what efficacy, but I don't know exactly what that means, other than it says for moderate to severe. But what was the interesting thing is that it was 85% effective against the disease and completely effective by day 28. Nobody has the virus at day 28, so all things are 100% effective by then. Contrast that to some studies that I just got. I met with a guy yesterday who's the top scientist. His company is one of the top scientists with propolis, and there's a study that was done and being translated in English, and it was a randomized, controlled, open-label, single-centered trial where they used a standardized propolis product that comes from bees, that's the hive, and they found this was with COVID-19 patients. They gave them either 400 milligrams or 800 milligrams a day for 7 days, and what they found is the time in the hospital dropped drastically simply by going to the higher dose.
Wow.
In fact, the medium of 7 days is 400 milligrams. It was 6 days in the hospital versus 12 for standard care alone. And the group that got 800 milligrams a day didn't have to require any kind of hospitalization. But this is something that was just translated. I literally just got it, and you're the first to hear it. But bee propolis, which I have in the store, standardized doses of 400 milligrams of extract and 800 had a dramatic effect on COVID.
Wow.
To me, it blows away any of the drugs out there.
Well, listen, we're running short on time, so I want to tell people how to get a hold of you at your store as well. Now, Richard Pearl's store, Simply Natural, he has an incredible selection of nutraceuticals, and you can hear he's a leading expert in that area. His store is located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University, and is open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. till 9 p.m. And the number over there, you guys out of town can call Richard Pearl at his store and take advantage of all these great things that he's talking about on the show here. 954-741-4045, 954-741-4045. He's on this radio station weekdays at 9, following us with his show Richard Pearl on Politics. And if you're out of town, listen on the iHeartRadio app to Richard Pearl's show. Search WWNN on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Richard, have a great show. We only have seconds left, so take care. And Steve, we're all out of time, so you got 10 seconds.
How about this? God bless America. See you on Monday.
We've got you covered. AM 1470, FM 95.3, 96.9. South Florida's FM Money Talk Radio Network. WWNN, Pompano Beach.
All right, guys. Hey, listen. Thanks for watching. And again, now on Fridays, I do a live stream from my studio at home. And you want to make sure you're subscribed and you have the notification bell clicked so you get a notification when I go live. And when I do my Friday live stream, since I'm not on the radio then, I can pay more attention to you guys in the chat. and can interact a little bit better with the chat than I can while I'm on the radio. So make sure you're subscribed and you click that notification bell, and I'll see you later today on my live stream from home.